How's it going, everyone? This is Miles with Windows Central Gaming, and welcome to the 48th episode of Xbox Chaturdays. Today, I am stoked to be joined once again by the man with the million, Mr. Rand al Chopped Liver, Rand al Thor 19, co-host of Xbox 2's. How are you doing on this fine Saturday, my man?
I'm doing good, Miles, but I'm no longer Randall Chop Liver. I'm Randall Cheap, courtesy of Lord Cognito, Mr. Matty Plays over at the Finding Duke. Been coined that now. But I'm
Um,
doing good. I'm up early for you.
aw,
There's
aw.
not many people I get up early for, Miles. You're one of them. I think this is what my third time on the show,
Yeah,
perhaps,
this
maybe
is
fourth time or something.
trifecta. I think it's big number three. Big number three on
Yeah.
Xbox Saturdays. So again, always love having you on. I appreciate that you get up at the crack of noon to join me for Xbox Saturdays.
That
Um,
YouTuber life.
I know. Up till 4, grinding, gaming. You gotta hustle. I respect it. And I know it's not always fun to get up early, so I appreciate it. Again, this whole show was built around Jez Corden's UK schedule originally. And then he's not really a part of the show anymore, so I got to get up early on Saturdays too, courtesy of Jez. So thank you, Jez, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? You're making me do two podcasts literally back to back this week because I was supposed to be the guest last week. But you pulled a rope-a-dope on me last second, and you're like, you know what? I got a bigger guest than you. And I'm like, who is it? And you're like, Jeff Grub. And I'm like, yeah, he's a pretty big guest. I
I
understand.
for full transparency here, I did not say I have a bigger guest. Sorry, Rand. Sorry, I'm pushing you back. I'll get to you when I get to you, dude. I got Jeff on. Rand again. Rand L. Chop Liver. No.
Mhm.
Rand's number one. All right, Rand, you're number one in my heart. I appreciate you coming on. Um, we have a good show today. We're going to be talking about the Xbox Museum. We're going to be talking about Halo Infinite's multiplayer reviews starting to trickle out into the world. We're going to be talking about the current state of Xbox 1 year after the launch of the Xbox Series X and S, and a whole bunch more. But before we get into all of that, Rand, again, I'm sure everyone here already knows, but let the people here know who Rand is and where they can find you.
Well, who is Rand? That is a question. I stay up late at night thinking to myself, like, who am I? What am I doing?
The big
Oh, that's this is yes.
philosophical question.
This isn't Xbox philosophicals, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I'm Rand al Thor, the man with the million. I got over 1 million gamer score. I guess that's my calling card, so to speak. Um, I make Xbox content, host a podcast with your coworker Jez Corden. The Xbox 2 usually Fridays, but today on Saturday, over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RandallThor19. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready to get in these topics, Miles. I'm ready to. We always have a good time, me and you, whether it's here on Xbox or when we actually do get the party up, because you're always in a party with people, and I never get invited or anything. You
Oh,
know,
boo. Poor Rand's coming on playing the victim here. Hard. All right. I got to shut it down. Rand always appears offline. All right. Rand, I never know when he's actually on because he's just lurking in the shadows, appearing offline. And then he comes and tells me that I never invite him to play Halo. And I got to say, my party's open, bro. You want to play some Halo? Get that ass in the party and let's do it.
yeah, I guess that's my fault. I do always. It's a habit I picked up during the 360 era, and I don't know. I just got to appear offline, man. I feel like exposed when I'm not.
Are you hiding? Are you trying to hide your achievements, Rand? What's up? Why don't you have? Why
No,
aren't you the
no.
man with 2 million by now? What's going on?
Uh, well, like when you hit 1 million gamer score, like that's it, really. Like 1 million sounds. I don't know. I always felt like after it's like, well, what's 2 million, 3 million? Like, it's never as cool. And my goal only when I set out was I didn't even like set out like when I originally started doing it. It was just I had a certain. I think Microsoft reset all the cheaters. Remember all the people that used to cheat gamer score back during the
Mm-hmm.
day? We never thought they would do anything. There was a bunch of us that were like, I'm never going to cheat. And then Microsoft removed all the cheaters, and I found myself in like the top 12, top 15. I was like, damn, I thought, like, how cool would it be if I could be in the top 5 to, top 5 people to hit 1,000,000? And I did, and I never really any, desire to go beyond that. So I basically stopped. And then the achievement system, they sort of it's not very good anymore. There's so many indie games, which I don't have a problem with, but a lot of these indie publishers have taken advantage of the fact that they're all allowed 1,000 gamer score. So they're basically selling you these really, 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 really bad games, and then letting you get 1,000 gamer score in like 10 minutes. So they're basically just selling you gamer score, and the middleman is this crappy game that nobody plays. And it's so like transparent, and there's like 3 publishers that do that. So like to keep up, you want it to keep up, you just be playing all these horrible, horrible games nonstop. So I'm glad I stopped when I did.
It's at a certain point the number becomes so, you know, meaningless. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And at a certain point, it becomes not fun. Like, I'm not anywhere close to 1,000,000, but I'm like 165, 170,000. And, after a certain point, I just stopped caring. I remember back in the 360 days, there were times where I wanted to get all the achievements in a game. And I would strive to do that. And it was this cool accomplishment when you did. And I also remember back when, Xbox was continuing to innovate on achievements, adding avatar rewards, making these extra incentives to get the achievements. Left 4 Dead 2, one of my favorite experiences with achievements because, not only were the achievements this good balance of challenge but attainability, but you got the stupid avatar t-shirts and stuff like that. Now it's just a number. Every game can have 1,000 gamer score. One game doesn't mean more than another, and outside of just seeing 1,000 out of 1,000 in your list, it doesn't really feel good to get all the achievements in a game. So
Mm. I
maybe
know
one.
what you like, Miles.
What do I
You like
like?
to look at someone's list and you're like, all right, let me see. Got that 1,000 in Dark Souls 3. What about Dark Souls 1? What about Sekiro? You got that 1,000 in Elden Ring, dog? True gamers would
Yeah.
have those, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the badge of honor. Speaking of badges, what I want to see while we're on the topic of achievements is give me a badge. Give me a dope Dark Souls badge. If I get 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer score in something like
Mm.
Dark Souls, give me a cool little bonfire badge I can throw on my profile. Give me something, all right? What happened,
I want to.
Xbox? You used to innovate achievements. Now you've just fallen behind, bro. Nintendo's about to surpass you when it comes to achievements, you know?
They'd have to get achievements to surpass them in the first place.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't get
fair.
an
That's
achievement
fair.
for connecting all those Pokemon. How do you know if you actually did it or not?
Exactly. That's why I can't play Nintendo games anymore because I'm not getting the number, the pop, the little ding. Um, just kidding. I'll Nintendo games are so good I don't even need achievements, Rand. All right, I don't
Yeah,
even.
you know what? I totally forgot. Me and you are the like oil and vinegar when it comes to Nintendo on this podcast. I didn't know we'd bring it up, but you sure found a way to.
I will always find a way to because I love you. I appreciate you. Um, but this is our battle. This is our internal battle, and it will never end. We will be arch nemesises in this regard until the end of time. But we can still look past that. We can still look past those
Miles,
fundamental differences and talk about games and have fun.
Miles, speak truthfully to me right now.
Okay.
How often you playing your Switch?
I play my Switch. If we're talking about Pokemon Unite, I still play Pokemon Unite almost daily. So
Hmm.
honestly and truthfully, I play my Switch probably an average of every other day, if I'm being
Hmm.
honest.
Okay,
But
okay.
99% of it right now is Pokemon Unite.
So if
So
there was no Pokemon MOBA, it's a MOBA, right?
yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't be playing it.
Yeah, there hasn't been much.
Hmm.
I've almost caved and bought Diamond or Pearl, but I've held strong. I've fought the urge and I haven't bought those yet. So outside of the Pokemon MOBA, yeah, I probably wouldn't touch it for a couple months because there hasn't been anything that's really pulled me in recently.
Okay, okay. So we got some super chats here.
Super chats. Yeah, let's give a quick shout out to the 140 people rocking with us already. If you guys are new to the show, we are live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're digging the show, hit that like button, share it out, feed that YouTube algorithm. If you want to watch after the fact, Xbox Chaturdays is now available on podcast services. Whoa, it took, 47 episodes, but we did it. We're here. You can get Xbox Chaturdays on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. So search for it there, like it, review it, whatever you have to do in that whole world to feed that algorithm. And let's get to some super chats here because we got a few amazing people dropping them. Mr. Joanna Dark says, hello to my two favorite all-star content creators. I hope you've been enjoying the holiday weekend. Miles, how was Resident Evil?
New movie? The new movie? Did you go see the new movie?
I went and saw I went and saw the new movie yesterday, gang. Okay, so full transparency. I remember seeing that trailer in theaters a couple weeks ago and saying, wow, this looks god awful. This movie looks like a big stinker. The CG looks embarrassingly bad. The costumes are so like budget cosplay that it's unreal. And for those reasons, I was like, I have to see this. I have to go see this in theaters. This looks like a beautiful train wreck, and I'm here for it. Everyone here knows I love Resident Evil, one of my all-time favorite franchises. That being said, I went and saw the Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, and I liked it. It was a pretty decent movie. I will say, you pretty much have to have played the first three games. It takes Resident Evils 1, 2, and 3 and basically Frankenstein merges them into one movie. So some of the plot points are kind of overlapping and blended with different characters. The movie assumes that you have played these games because if you have, there's a ton of cool fan service. There's a bunch of nods to the original games. There's a Jill sandwich joke. So there's a lot of stuff that's obviously catered to hardcore Resident Evil fans. That being said, if you haven't played those games, it probably will make no sense at all. They smash so much. The movie's about an hour and 40 minutes, and like I said, they combine the first three games into an hour and 40 minutes, basically. So it assumes a lot of you as the viewer. So if you're unfamiliar with those games, you probably won't enjoy it. But if you are, so good. They did such an amazing job with the set design. The interior shots of the Raccoon City Police Department and the Spencer Mansion. So spot on, so beautiful. All your favorites here: zombie dogs, zombies, lickers. Dr. Birkin is in the mix. It's worth watching. Absolutely worth watching if you like Resident Evil. I'm not going to say it's a great movie because it's so cheesy, so overacted. It feels like a Resident Evil soap opera. But if you've played the originals, not the remakes, the original trilogy, it's that vibe perfectly. They perfectly captured the 1998 aesthetic of that. And for that, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 stars.
Really?
No, I would never give it 5 stars, but it is worth watching. Absolutely, if you're a Resident Evil fan.
I am a Resident Evil fan, and I feel like the best course of action is not to watch this movie because it doesn't look very good.
I felt the same way. I went into this movie expecting disaster, Rand. Expecting this to be just unbelievably like House of the Dead. Did you ever watch the House of the Dead movie?
I did not watch any of the House of the Dead movies. Those were the Uwe Boll movies, right?
One of the worst movies ever made by a mile. That movie was so unbelievably stupid. And that's kind of what I was hoping that the Resident Evil movie was, like, in that vein of just so egregiously bad that it's good. But legitimately, it's not a bad movie. It got kind of panned by a lot of critics, and I understand why. Because again, if you're not familiar with the source material, you don't know what's going on. You have to fill in a lot of the gaps of the story, and that's a problem if you haven't played those games. But if you have, you get a lot of cool fan service and a lot of cool nods. They straight up have a piano puzzle in the movie. There's a part where Wesker sits down and plays Moonlight Sonata on the piano, and a bookcase opens up. So you got to respect that. They really went all in on making it feel like a video game.
I'll take your word for it. I'll probably never watch them.
Okay. Wow, dude. After that glowing praise, you still won't give it to me. Okay.
No.
All right. Super chat from Nick W, who says, "What have you guys been playing lately?" Rand, what have you been playing lately?
Well, Halo campaign, Halo Infinite campaign.
Ooh.
I put about 10 hours into that.
Okay. So you beat it then? It's already done?
I haven't beat it yet. I've replayed the first section twice, once on normal, once on heroic for the video I did last week already. I think last week. But I haven't really been playing anything else. So yeah, just been chilling. Not really much. Sometimes I go through these phases. I'm not real. I'm just not in the mood to game. You know what I mean? I don't want to force
Fake
it
gamer
because
confirmed. Randall, fake
yeah, fake
gamer.
gamer, fake gamer confirmed. I don't know. I just go through these phases sometimes where I like sit in front of my TV and I turn on the Xbox and I sit there and I just look at the TV and I'm like, do I want to really want to play anything? And then I just turn it off and then
You sit there and
that's it.
ponder who Rand al Thor is. Is that?
Well, that's when I look at the parties and I see Miles is in a party, but he won't invite me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just get off. Whatever, and go to bed. I haven't really played much. Just Halo campaign and a little bit of Halo multiplayer. Just kind of, I don't know, not feeling in the gaming mood right now. You know?
Yeah, I've mostly been playing Halo Infinite multiplayer. I have a lot of time. I'm closing in on 2 days of playtime with Halo Infinite multiplayer. Having a blast. Really digging it. We're gonna be going into a bit of that more later, so I won't talk too much about that now. But and then outside of that, I've just this won't be a shock to really anyone, but I've been playing Dark Souls 3. I've been going
Wow.
we've been going back and replaying Dark Souls 3
God.
again, baby. FPS boost. I love you. Even though the game's 900p, that 60 FPS on Xbox is it's just magical, Rand. And
Miles playing a Dark Souls game.
I know.
Wow,
Plot
guys.
twist, y'all. Who would have saw it coming?
Are you gonna be playing Elden Ring when it comes out?
Oh, dude. It's one of those things I'm half tempted to be like, I'm not working for 2 weeks when this comes out. Like, sorry, good luck, Godspeed. Because I don't think I'm handling the official review for it. I think someone else on our team is. So,
Excuse me? How are you not handling the official review for it?
it's one of those things where, reviewing an RPG is a lot. It's a big ask. I did Tales of Arise, and that was a gauntlet. That was a lot of gameplay in a short period of time. And I don't want to do that to myself with Elden Ring. I want to savor it. I really want to just go in there, enjoy it, play it how I want, and not have to worry about like I need to beat this in 3 days. I got to play 80 hours in 3 days. Not even humanly possible, but I have to figure out how to do it. So I didn't want to do that. So I think one of our teammates, Brendan, who's also a huge Souls fan, is going to be handling our official review for Elden Ring. So I'm gonna be playing day one. I'm gonna be there ready to just grind my ass off, but I'm almost debating whether or not I just want to be completely separated from the work aspect of it. I don't really want to do guides. I don't want to do a review. I just want to get lost in this world, dude. I want to get sucked in, enjoy the madness that Miyazaki has presented, and yeah, and that's it. Sometimes I just want to play a game, and when you have to do work,
you're taking a staycation then, or a game stay, like you just were on vacation, right? With like New York. Were you in New York?
Yeah, so I just came back from a real
life vacation.
My first real vacation in a way too long, and that was amazing.
Are you doing a staycation where you telling Windows Central don't hit me up in the Slack channel, don't hit me up in Discord? Like, I'm invisible for these next 2 weeks.
Don't touch. Yes, I haven't made it official yet, but I'm kind of debating. Being like, Jez, good luck, Godspeed. Team, I wish you all the best, but I just want to play some Elden Ring. All right, I just want to play it, and that's it. Get off my back. Don't make me do things. Just let me play. So I'm not sure. I'm on the fence right now. Obviously, it's a big opportunity for content with a lot of the excitement for Elden Ring. So, I don't know. I'm torn. I'm a little torn. Super chat from Space Dovahkiin, who says, "Happy Chatterday, gentlemen. Happy Chatterday to you." All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Space Dovahkiin again. You guys need to play Guardians of the Galaxy Fire. Have you played it, Rand?
I've played the first 4 chapters, yes.
Okay.
But then Halo came a calling. And
Okay.
I'm gonna get back to it.
Okay.
You know, Miles, I don't know if you heard my theory when on Xbox 2 when it was announced that Crystal Dynamics was working on Perfect Dark.
Rocket Raccoon is going to be in Perfect Dark?
Oh, I was just saying, like, you remember how people found that out? They were all like, "Oh my god, this is horrible," blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what? I would not be surprised if by the end of all this, Microsoft just buys Square Enix's Western division from them, and it next year, 2 years from now, welcome to the Xbox family, Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. Bring that Tomb Raider and Deus Ex IP with you too. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I've seen a lot of people speculate on that possibility, how this is maybe like a test bed to see how Crystal Dynamics might fit into Xbox Game Studios, because as we know, Square consistently struggles to make money. Every single time they put out a game, there's an article that says Square's unhappy with the amount of money that this made, and it's like, most of their games are not reviewing poorly. Most of their games are reviewing pretty well. I mean, we can look at Avengers, which overall didn't review the greatest, but generally speaking, a lot of their games that haven't sold well have reviewed pretty well. So it's been this conflict of them not really managing expectations or managing their marketing budget properly or managing the development budget properly. So, it would be really cool to have this world where, Crystal Dynamics and Tomb Raider and all that IP comes to Xbox, and Xbox gets another amazing, as we've seen with Guardians of the Galaxy, like Square has some incredibly talented studios on the Western side that just constantly are getting raked through the coals because their games are not selling the way that Square wants them to. So it'd be curious to see kind of how that whole thing plays out with Crystal Dynamics partnering on Perfect Dark. One of Xbox's biggest, kind of highest profile projects right now. This brand new studio, The Initiative, their first project is a collab. So it's really interesting.
It's funny you mentioned Avengers, right? Did you see the Spider-Man gameplay reveal that they showed off?
I did see it was getting memed so hard.
Do you remember when that was announced as a PlayStation exclusive and how much there was just, I don't want to swear on your channel, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Like
people were pissed, and then people were rubbing it in Xbox fans' faces.
Like PlayStation guys were like, "We got Spider-Man, we got the true Avengers, right?" And Xbox fans were like, "This isn't fair. This is BS." And then the game came out, and nobody really liked it for the most part, and the reviews were bad, and everyone's like, "Oh man, this game isn't very good." And then you watch the Spider-Man gameplay, and it's just like, "That's it? Yikes!"
All that time, all that hype, all the exclusivity buzz around Spider-Man, and then they basically came out and said, like, we didn't really want to spend a ton of time on something that was only going to be available on one platform. It's just like, oh man.
We spent more time doing this raid that's upcoming. It's like, yeah, you can definitely tell you didn't spend a lot of time on Spider-Man. All that outrage on both sides for that.
I love it. That is like, that moment is the current state of video gaming in its finest form. All this energy, all this outrage, all this passion, all these heated fights online build up to this ultimate climax, which is just a really cheesy, mediocre looking Spider-Man character in a game that a lot of people have just written off entirely at this point. So what an epic end to the Spider-Man exclusive saga in Avengers, dude. Oh,
love it. Love it.
Love it. All right. One more super chat from Harjeet Chani, and then we're going to dive into the first topic here. Hello to Miles and Rand. What do you think about the cheating in Halo Infinite multiplayer? Should we have an option to drop crossplay? All right, Rand, everyone knows that anyone who plays on PC is a cheater. It's been proven
True.
time and
I
time
mean,
again.
it's
If you play on PC, you're a dirty cheat. Don't ever talk to me. Don't play Halo with me. Ban PC players instantly. If they're using mouse and keyboard, insta ban. We can assume they're cheating. That's kind of where I'm at. Where no, where are you?
I mean, I don't know. Like, you knew this was going to happen. As soon as it went to PC, you knew people were going to cheat. It happens in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think, as people who pay for Xbox Live, we should be like, crossplay is enabled by default.
Yes.
And I understand why Xbox does that. I get it, right? But I personally think it should be off by default, and you have to opt into it. And that then we should have the choice of actually wanting to do crossplay. I'm sure you've seen videos. I think you guys even wrote an article about how to turn off crossplay.
Exactly.
Not only in
yeah.
like Halo Infinite, but also like Call of Duty Warzone, right? But like turning it off at like the system level doesn't really work that well because it sort of breaks matchmaking. It sort of breaks the game, kind of. So it's not really a true way to get rid of it. Yeah, I've been a long proponent of like, listen, like we can talk about how this is the Xbox ecosystem, and we're all just game, we're all just gamers at the end of the day, right? But there's a section of us that have to pay for Xbox Live to play multiplayer, and then there's the other group of people that don't have to pay anything to play multiplayer. And but what do you know? It's the people that don't have to play anything to play multiplayer that are also cheating, right? I've always been of the opinion, like, we're the ones paying for the multiplayer. We should be the ones deciding if we want to play with people on other platforms or not. And it doesn't really seem like we're given the choice. And this is why, at the end of the day, they need to make multiplayer free. So you don't have this discussion where it's just like, the fact that, like, we're paying for this and then other people aren't.
It's a huge problem. It's something that I've been very vocal about because you can go on PC and you get all of the features of Xbox Live. You get your cloud saves, you get party chat, you get matchmaking. All of that is on your PC for free. There is no cost associated to that whatsoever. The only benefit you get on console that you don't get on PC are the games with gold, essentially.
Ooh, and those are always so good.
There's been a lot of heated conversations about the value proposition of games with gold. So that is such a weird dynamic of the Xbox ecosystem that's trying to be, consumer friendly, pro-consumer, trying to, keep everyone together, let everyone play online, that they have this hard financial divide for console players. And people have called it the console tax, if you will. And that's what it is. Not only are games more expensive on console, but you have to pay for online on console where you just don't on PC. And that, in my eyes, if I'm being my brutally honest review is that move right there that's anti-Xbox. That move that they have instated, that is not what Xbox is right now, and it's a relic of their past that needs to go away.
Tell me the truth, Miles. You love it when you come across a YouTube video that starts off by saying my brutally honest ... right? Because how would you if you don't see my brutally honest thoughts or review on a game, you just would assume that they're lying, of course, right?
Don't make me do it.
It doesn't say brutally honest. I mean, he's got to be fibbing then, right? He wouldn't lie to me and tell me these are his brutally honest thoughts, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, you probably saw my tweet thread then last week about
I don't think I saw that one.
I did. I had a thread about how I really cannot stand the YouTube algorithm pandering with my honest or my brutally honest review.
I did see it. I did see that.
My brutally honest review of X. Because that sets this gross precedent that if you don't put brutally honest in your title, it's not true.
You're paid for it, bro.
It's one of those things where I'm gonna assume that you talking about a video game online is honest, unless you're disclosing that this is an ad or a paid something for a game. I'm going to assume that this is honest. You don't have to tell me it's brutally honest. And the fact that you
Mm.
do tell me that makes me second guess everything. Because why are you stressing that this is brutally honest? What's the incentive to stress that outside of pandering to YouTube's algorithm? And that's what it is. You see the word brutal, and that's a visceral response. You go brutal. This guy's going to be negative. This guy's going to be negative towards this game. Is the assumption with a lot of viewers. And if they don't like that game, they're going to click on it because they say, "Yeah, I want to hear someone dunk on this game I don't like." And if they do like it, they're going to click on it because they're like, "Yo, what the hell? This guy's going to be
Hmm.
brutally honest about a game I love?" No, I won't stand for it. So it's YouTube pandering, it's algorithm
Mm.
pandering, and I don't like it. I don't care for it, but I get why
You know,
people do it.
Miles, I've done it one time.
Why, Rand?
I did it once in my brutally honest review of the Xbox Series X when I reviewed it for launch last year. I was like, you know what? What's a good title? Ultimate. You know, like the ultimate X. You know, like nah, brutally honest.
Brutally honest review.
It's just not enough to say my honest. You know, it's gotta be brutally honest. Yeah, yeah, it's all YouTube, man. You know, algorithm. You know, like I don't know if you've seen any of the new algorithm shifts.
Oh, like
But I
turning off
definitely,
dislikes, or what do you mean?
well, not the. I mean, like the algorithm, how it's starting to favor TikTok length content now.
Ah,
Thir-
yes,
30
yes.
seconds to a minute, and it's pushing that hard. I've definitely noticed that. I see a bunch of Halo clips all of a sudden at my recommended feed that are 30 seconds long, and I'm like, is YouTube turning into TikTok? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, it kind of is because most of my YouTube feed, when I go on there, I just get a wall of shorts, and it's just the stuff you expect to see on TikTok. The sexy cute girls doing the jumping jack challenge and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well, this feels very on YouTube and very TikTok esque. I understand,
Mm.
like YouTube's trying to expand its audience and offer an alternative that fills that void, but like you said, some of it's just not what I use YouTube for.
No, like this could present an opportunity for Windows Central and you, Miles. You play a lot of Halo, play a lot of
WC
Dark Souls,
Shorts?
WC Shorts, baby. You put out like 10 Halo clips a day, 10 Dark Souls clips a day, 30
Ooh,
seconds long.
ooh. And
You'd be
profit,
feeding that
baby. Oh,
algorithm. Oh,
feed
yeah.
it. They want consistent content that people are sharing,
Mhm.
liking, engaging with, and just those little bite-sized nuggets. Just, I can digest this, move on to the next. I'm still there. Instead of watching one 8-minute video, I now watch 30-second videos. You know, YouTube wins,
Gotta give the
baby.
people, gotta give what the people what they want, man.
YouTube's winning. We got Ogden Zagan, who says, "My brutally honest opinion on Xbox Chaturdays. It's cool, TBH." Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up, Rand. Because again, no shade to any, because I know there are content creators that do it consistently, and this isn't to throw shade on them. I understand why they do it. I just, as someone who understands the psychology of YouTube's algorithm, it bothers me because I know how it works. I know why people do it, and that makes me upset that they're doing it.
What
Um,
about shocked face? Shocked YouTuber face.
uh,
Shocked YouTuber face
that
going, my brutally honest review. You know?
I I don't I don't understand that one. Like psychologically, do people? I mean, obviously, people click on it more if there is like a shocked face. I don't.
Yes.
Like that's never made me click on a video over another one, is having the shocked face. And because you look at their thumbnails, and every thumbnail's the same. Like it's the same thumbnail, same face every single time. And I don't understand how that helps the algorithm and all that boring stuff. But
Because because creators do A/B tests or ABC tests of thumbnails, and they can see which ones do better. Because as you know, and as I know, like the two most important things to a video isn't the video itself; it's the title and the thumbnail.
yep, yes, it is.
Because you only like that's all you see, and someone makes a determination within seconds if they want to watch your video by seeing the thumbnail and seeing the title, right? And for whatever reason, uh, there's been plenty of studies that when you have a thumbnail and it's just kind of a plain Jane one and it doesn't take off, and then if you switch it up and you put one in with the shock face, boom, here come the views, baby.
Boom, baby. So what I'm starting
So
is just being shirtless for all of my thumbnails. You think that's
well,
cool?
because you're always very serious for your you're like looking at the camera straight ahead, and you're just like, yeah. You don't do this. You should do the YouTuber shock face at
No,
least
I
once,
can't.
just to make fun of it. Just
I
to make
can't.
fun of it.
My heart would die if I did it. I would be
Die
dead.
of cringe.
I
Die
would
of
I would
cringe.
die. I would look at that every day and just hate myself a little bit. Again, no shade. I understand why people do it, but that's not me. That's not my vibe, Rand. I'm trying not to
I
be a
know.
cringe tuber here. All right, I'm trying to do something a little bit different. Trying to have some modicum of self-respect, but
But it's what the people want.
I
Because if
know.
people didn't want it, they
I
wouldn't
know.
click on it.
I know. Maybe I'll sell out one day. Maybe you'll start seeing my brutally honest reviews with a shock face over on the Windows Central Gaming channel. All right, let's get to the first. Actually, I got to give a quick shout out to the 230 people hanging with us. Appreciate you guys tuning in to Xbox Chaturdays. If you are new to the show, we are live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are digging the show, hit that like button, share it out. We were just ranting about the YouTube algorithm. Feed that algorithm. Feed it. YouTube demands it. And let's talk about the Xbox Museum, Rand, because Xbox has been doing a lot of really cool things to celebrate 20 years of Xbox. They've had
Metaverse.
amazing collaborations with Adidas, with Gucci, with all these big brands to celebrate Xbox. And to keep the celebration going, they rolled out their first foray into the metaverse, Rand. Microsoft's first attempt at the metaverse, and that was the Xbox Virtual Museum. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you can go, I think it's museum.xbox.com, something along those lines. You can go in, sign in with your Xbox account, and basically go through a virtual tour of 20 years of Xbox and a virtual tour of pretty much 20 years of your Xbox Live journey as well, which I thought was really fascinating. So, Rand, what did you think about the overall kind of presentation of this museum? Did you go down the rabbit hole and learn about Xbox, watch the old marketing videos or any of that stuff?
No, so I tried to do it on my PC and it looked horrible. Like it looked like it was running in like 110p. I don't know what it was. It just did for whatever reason when I ran it on my PC, it was not running good. It did not look good. So I ran it on my phone and it looked much better. But I hate using my phone for stuff like that. So all I really did was just take a look at my stats. Because I've been around it. I mean, sure, I didn't get it. I didn't get it in the OG Xbox until 2004, but I lived through the whole 360 gen.
Oof.
I was
Oof.
there day one for Xbox One. Like was there for the Series X. Like I know all the stuff that goes on, so I didn't need to be reminded of it. I was more interested in like my personal accomplishments and stuff. Which is weird because I could have like it said I like my first time I played on the 360 was like a date which could not be right. It was like 2005, and I was like, I didn't get a 360 to 2006, and I was like, how? And it was like what first game it said I played, but it was like the first game I put in my system was Perfect Dark. I remember this because I was like, dear God, this is horrible. And then I started playing Call of Duty 2. I may have not been connected online though, which maybe that's the reason. But it was like your first day on the whatever it was like I forget what actual date it was, but it was like you have the wrong year here. I didn't get a 360 to 2006, so I'm like already down some of their data.
Yeah, so I did notice some weird statistical inaccuracies with certain things, like you mentioned. The first titles that I played on all my systems were wrong. They were every single system. The first title I played was wrong, and I was like, that's weird. This definitely wasn't the first game I played on 360. This wasn't the first game I played on Xbox One, because I remember distinctly the first game I played on Xbox One, Dead Rising 3. But it was something completely different. And I can't even remember what it was, but I remember just being like, no, that's not it. You're wrong. You're wrong, Xbox. But what I want to know, Rand, is it gave us a breakdown of our most played games over the last 5 years. And I want to know, what were Rand al Thor 19's most played games? And was there anything on that list that kind of shocked you?
The last 5 years?
Yeah.
No, so this year's kind of shocked me, but then I thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. It was Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I played all 3 games, so that was like 100 hours, and I'm like thinking, I was like, yeah, that's about right. Last year, 2020, I believe it was Warzone, Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh,
I put uh,
damn.
I
Okay.
put like 250 hours in Warzone, and then 2019, 2018, and 2017 were the same game. PUBG, baby.
Oh, PUBG. That was such a magical moment
It
in
sure was.
Xbox. Back when it was running at like 23
Sub 30
FPS.
frames.
Just
Yeah.
just no,
But
but
it
no
was
complaints from me.
and
Crashing
my
every match.
crew, we still have those nostalgic when we do get together, it's just like, do you remember what it was like? Loaded up
Where we dropping,
December,
boys? Where
where
we
we
drop?
dropping, and all we did for like 8 months straight, every single night from like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. was just try to get them chicken dinners. And it was such a magical experience. Kind of very much how I felt when I played Halo 2 for the first time. Like, where that's all you thought about, all you wanted to
Yep.
do. And you know that it tells you like your game you played the most, period. On like little thing is PUBG. I put 900 hours into PUBG.
Whoa, so PUBG
Uh,
was your most played game on Xbox ever.
well, I don't think it counts OG Xbox games because I think it would probably. I think Halo 2 would be up there.
Okay, okay.
Um, yeah, but
900
no,
hours of
it definitely,
PUBG.
yeah,
Oh,
it
dang.
definitely would be for Xbox One. I mean, Halo 3 would come probably second, close to that. But bro, I tell you, man, nothing was like PUBG. Like, and I've been chasing that. I don't know, feeling ever since. And I got a little bit there sometimes with Apex Legends when it first dropped, but then that kind of faded quickly. And then I got some of that back with Warzone for a little bit, but then that kind of faded after a little bit. But yeah,
Just
I don't know, man.
chasing
Like
that high, dude. Chasing that
it
high.
was, it was, but I just that's why there's a part of me that really, 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 really wants 343 to do a battle royale for Halo Infinite.
Just
Chase that high in Halo Infinite. I
eh.
would all my buddies like we need battle royale in Halo Infinite. Like I need it. You know what I'm saying? Like oh come on, just thinking
So
about it
are
just
you on
makes me
on
giddy.
the Dr. Disrespect side where the game's gonna die if it doesn't have one? Is that where
No,
you're
I'm
at?
not saying that. I'm just saying, look, we know Halo Infinite's 10-year platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's to say they can't slide into Halo a battle royale in year 3 or year 2?
Hey,
You know, it's 10-year platform. They're gotta have a bunch of content. Why not add a battle royale in a couple years? I mean, I get like wanting to focus on we need to make the gameplay, make sure we nail it, get the core 4v4 arena stuff down right, get big team battle done right before we expand to other stuff. But it's like you've seen what's that game mode? Eliminator, I think, or whatever, where there's a wall that comes in and then if you're outside of the red wall, you start to lose your shields and then your health and you die. I mean, come on.
come
You know what
on.
that's going to be used
Do it for
for.
Rand, Xbox, all
And
right?
you're telling me you wouldn't enjoy Halo Infinite Battle Royale?
I would play it. I've played pretty much every battle royale. Like you, PUBG. Oh, so many amazing memories. Blasting Highway Star when every time we're in a vehicle, just singing along as we're just bombing down these hills in a Jeep. Um, PUBG was this magical experience. The first time we got to play a true battle royale on console, and it was just again like performance was bad, the game was buggy, crashed constantly. I didn't care. Every time the game crashed, I was restarting it, jumping right back in that match while my squad surrounded me and covered me. It was such an
Dude,
amazing game, and again, like you, I've played Apex, I've played Call of Duty Warzone. I enjoyed them for sure. Like they were definitely fun, but none of them really captured me in the same way that PUBG was because for its time, PUBG was just completely different, completely
yeah.
unique.
Dude,
Fortnite as well, fine. I don't
I
like the
never played
building.
it.
I don't
I
like the
never
building
played
in
it, yeah.
Fortnite, and that's why I don't care to play it because have no interest in building the structures and fighting with around that. But Halo, a Halo battle royale, that's an
Mm,
interesting concept. I would hope they would incorporate the flood. Is my vision of Halo battle royale, is that the outside of the bubble is just a swarm of flood closing in.
that'd be cool.
And that's how I would hope that they would drive this kind of dynamic of it. But you think about the grappling hook, you think about the repulsor, you think about all the vehicles that Halo has to offer, it would translate to a battle royale pretty perfectly. Especially when you look at the size and scale of the big team battle maps they have. Like, you don't have to go too much bigger. You double or triple the size of one of those big team battle maps, and battle royale, baby, let's go. We're ready for it. Do you think they would do full 100 players? Because Halo has always had smaller in the grand scheme of things compared to like Battlefield matches. Would it be 100 players or would it be like 50 players?
I don't know. I guess it's just however big the map is. I don't know. I think they should do it at some point. But I don't know. I mean, 100 players sounds cool. I always imagine like you're in like an ODST drop pod and you can kind of like as you're coming down, you're watching and just boom thing pops open and you're out. Like how cool would that be? But
Yeah.
the funny thing about PUBG, Miles, and you mentioned how it ran like poo, right? And all that good stuff and it crashed my 1X every single time somebody threw a smoke grenade around me. Like my buddies would just they'd be cruel sometimes and they'd be like, I mean, you know how it is, right? Someone goes down and you want to get them up, but like you don't want to expose yourself, so you throw a smoke grenade out, which provided pretty good cover, right? But my friends would do that and they're like, sorry, Rand. We gotta get Maka up. They throw the smoke grenade and boom, and instantly my console just shut off. Every single time.
Oh, it was such a beautiful janky mess, and it's one of those rare
Yeah.
times where like crashes and extreme bugs didn't stop me from loving it and having a blast. Because there's times where that happens in other games, and I'm just done. I'm like, you know what? I'm out. This game's crashing. This game is not worth my time. PUBG, oh, it crashed several times a night for everyone in my squad, and we just kept going. That was part of our strategy, was being having situational awareness, so that if someone does crash, we're in a spot where we can cover them. Like, that's how bad it was, but we just didn't care. So yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't have expected PUBG to be your number one game. I know you talk about PUBG a lot and loving PUBG and have played a lot of PUBG, but
I mean, that's what Xbox says. That's
that's
what it
it.
says.
You
Number
good?
one for 3 years in a row.
Do you know what my most played game is? Do you have a guess?
I mean, like you do play Dark Souls a lot, but like something tells me it's not Dark Souls.
No,
So I'm trying.
it's not Dark Souls. It's not.
And
It's
definitely it's some multiplayer game, but
yeah. Yep.
I'm trying to think is it Rocket League or am I thinking of somebody else? I think that's Special Nick who likes Rocket League that
Oh, I think
much.
he has like 2,000 hours or something.
Yeah.
That dude has some
Uh,
time. No, not Rocket League, not Dark Souls.
Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
I talked about Pokemon Unite earlier. Um, so I'm a big MOBA fan. I'm a big fan of
Smite?
MOBAs.
Smite?
Smite is my number
Hmm.
one played game on Xbox, and that's
It's a good game. I put about 100 hours into that too. But probably around 2015 ish.
to put it in
Maybe around
perspective.
then.
Like, it wasn't in any of my top 5 since 2017. Like, it wasn't. It was my 2017 was For Honor. Then it was like 3 years of Sea of Thieves, and then like years 5 were kind of that was my list. So Smite, I put in most of my Smite time back in like 2014 2015 when it first hit Xbox, and I was so hard into Smite. I used to stream Smite, Rand. A little known fact that I used to get out and I
Interesting.
used to stream Smite, and I was playing so much of it. I still come back to it every year, and I'll still play, but it's not anything like it used to be, where I was playing all day, every day. That was my game. So much Smite. So it
Let
was
me
kind
ask you
of
a question.
yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Smite was a game that was started on PC first, right? Got
Yep.
popular and
I
then came
played
to
the
console,
played
right?
the beta on PC.
Okay. What do you think about these rumors of a well-known, huge franchise on PC maybe coming to Xbox really soon. Have you heard these rumors?
Are you talking about an MMO that Jez loves?
Yeah, like, what do you think about these rumors that World of Warcraft is actually finally gonna come to Xbox?
World of Warcraft coming to Xbox. Here's what I hope, and it would be just so amazing for me. Is that this is real? This comes to Xbox. It launches on Xbox, and then Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation pull all of Activision's games from the store. That is my dream. That it is real. It finally happens, and then it gets pulled because of all this drama with Activision. That's where I'm at. What about you? Would you dive in? Would you?
No,
Would you? Okay, me either. I wouldn't give a damn. Like,
no,
I
I
would
don't
not
give a
play it. I
yeah.
wouldn't touch. I've had so many friends harass me over the years to play WoW, and I've tried to play WoW 4 separate times. I have gotten to, I think I got to level like 70, maybe 80. It might have been when they raised the level cap to 80. So I've gotten to the quote unquote end game once upon a time in WoW, and I was just like, I don't like this. I don't want to be doing this. But I'm not big into MMOs in general. I don't like the loop of collect X this, kill X of this, and go to a raid dungeon. It doesn't connect. It's not as engaging as I want it to be. So if WoW came to Xbox, cool. That would be exciting for a lot of people who only play on console and want this legacy MMO. Like, obviously, it's the biggest MMO of all time. But for me, I don't care. I don't care even a little bit, if I'm being honest.
I don't care either. And you would think Jez would care, but I think Jez is just so had it up. Like he doesn't. He's kind of really down about World of Warcraft now in the state that it's in, and then all
Mm-hmm.
the Activision stuff that's going on. And he's just like, yeah, it would come now. Like like they're trying to like get extra, players because the player base is dwindling on PC. But he's like, screw them, essentially. That probably would have been a huge announcement 5 years ago or something,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like
Oh, back when they
now
were
it's just like, yeah, whatever, who cares?
people were Final Fantasy 14. Like, that would have, in my eyes, way more hype, way more buzz if they were like,
Because
"Hey,
it's made
Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox. Let's go."
it's way more relevant now.
Yeah. WoW is just, it's not as relevant as it used to be. Obviously, there's still a ton of people who play it. Like, I'm not going
You
to say
know,
it's a
any
dead game by any means.
anytime Square Enix can drop a JRPG of some kind on Xbox, it's a good day because normally they don't, and they take a check from Sony to keep it off Xbox for a while.
Or the reality is Square just doesn't care, doesn't feel it's
Mm,
worthwhile, because it's not that anyone's paying Square to not bring it, because it's coming to every single platform except Xbox. So what that tells me is it's not even worth the money for them to port it to Xbox. And that sucks as an Xbox fan, and that's a bad look for the platform when a big publisher like Square is like, we don't even care. Like, we're going to bring this to mobile, we're going to bring this to Switch, we're going to bring this to PlayStation, we're going to bring this to PC, but Xbox, nah, we're good. We don't feel like it's even going to make enough money to make the port worthwhile.
mm.
That's a bad look for Xbox. And
Isn't
people.
there isn't there a new rumor? Well, not really new, but like that Square Enix or Square, I think it's Square, that they have a remaster being announced at the VGAs.
Oh yeah, is it Chrono Cross, right? That's the
Oh
one.
yeah, surprise, Chrono Cross.
And there's
Yeah,
also a
yeah.
rumor that their Final Fantasy Tactics is
And
getting a remaster, and
the
that
Tactus
one,
is supposed to come to Xbox though, right? Wasn't
I
that the thing?
I
But
think
Chrono
so.
Trigger's not. But Chrono Cross is not.
It sounds like Chrono Cross, according to this like data that we have via this leak, is again another all except for
Mm.
Xbox, and
I actually really like Chrono Cross.
it's a good game. It's a really
It's
good game. And that would be, again, like, I used to love JRPGs. Used to put
me
so
too.
much. Used to be my main genre, and then I fell out pretty hard, and just a lot of it is because they just became so derivative of each other. They were all the same, and then we're kind of in this resurgence right now where a lot of people like Tales of Arise. Like, I was not expecting Tales of Arise to be one of my game of the year picks this year, but I loved that game, despite the fact that it was just anime nonsense and the story is just borderline cringe. I still loved that game. Really, really loved that game. And so it sucks being on Xbox, like, and seeing series like the Mana, like Legend of Mana coming to everything but Xbox, time and time again. And Xbox is obviously working to improve that and making sure that Square sees the value in their platform. But yeah, if Chrono Cross, that would be a big skip. If Final Fantasy Tactics comes out and that skips Xbox, Final Fantasy Tactics is the best Final Fantasy game that's been made. Period. Hands down, Final Fantasy Tactics is the greatest Final Fantasy of all time, probably the greatest RPG of all time. If I'm being honest with myself, that game is perfect. And if that skips Xbox, whew, I don't know what I would do. Probably just buy it somewhere else if I'm being honest. But as I do, as I have to do,
Games that won't be in the Xbox Museum.
Exactly. Games that won't be in the Xbox Museum for 500 Rand. Okay, Rand, let's move on to another kind of big topic this week, and a big, as with any topic related to Halo, it's passionate. People are passionate about Halo. Whether it's good intentions or bad intentions, people have a lot of strong opinions about Halo. And so we started seeing some reviews come out for Halo Infinite's multiplayer. And there's been some heated conversations about the fact that, why are you reviewing a beta? You're attaching a score to a beta of a game. I don't think that's fair. I'm going to use IGN as the kind of catalyst for this conversation, because Stella, who's part of IGN's Unlock show, she reviewed Halo Infinite's multiplayer in its current state, and she gave it a 9 out of 10 for Halo Infinite's multiplayer beta, and that's impressive. That is huge. That is a really amazing score, a high praise for a shooter. But a lot of people were quick to say that you can't score a game that is in beta. And so, Rand, I want to ask you a couple questions around this conversation here. First off, do you agree with that sentiment, that this isn't a beta, so you cannot put a score on it?
It's an interesting question, because I remember people were kind of felt the same when IGN and some of these companies reviewed Grounded.
Yes.
You recall when Grounded first came out, and I felt that was an early access game, and the whole game wasn't there.
Correct.
But it was kind of one of those things where it's like, well, they are asking money for it, right?
That's also true. Yes.
So it's like, well, if they're asking for money, then trying to see what you get for your money, I think, is valid. Like, this is what you get. Here's what we'd rate it. Even though, Grounded right now is completely different than Grounded, when it first came out. But a lot of the people don't update their reviews. So, like, any reviews you typically find of Grounded now don't represent what the game is right now. With Halo, it's free to play. So there's no money to buy it. They call it a beta. So the question is it okay to review a beta?
Yes, that is what people are saying you cannot do. You can't put a score on a beta. Lol, IGN sucks. # cancel IGN is the vibe.
I guess that really depends on how much of this is actually a true beta. Like,
we'll go into that separate before we're definitely going to talk about that.
I kind of feel like that's important, though, right?
Yes.
Like, nobody, like a couple months ago or a month ago, when Battlefield and Call of Duty had their betas, nobody reviewed those, right? And this was the score we give it, right? I don't know, man. Like, I can see why people would do it, because personally, I feel that this is the V1. This is Halo's multiplayer. And so even though they're calling it a beta, I feel like this is what you're going to get day one. And if that's the case, then yeah, the review's fine. But if my feeling is wrong, and suddenly on December 8th, there's, the progression has changed. The battle pass is different. There's now 10 more maps. There's now more individual game modes you can choose from. And I'd be like, well, man, reviewing that beta was the wrong thing to do, huh? Because the game changed. But I guess the question is do you expect the game to change on December 8th, Miles?
If I'm being honest here, no, not fun, not drastically. If I'm being just completely honest with what I expect, um, maybe just potentially we'll see some tweaks to the progression system for the launch, but they've said that those changes will take time, and I know that 343 is taking some time off for the holidays, as they should. They've spent all this time putting the game out. They're going to ship the game, and they're going to take some well-deserved time off. So for me, I am not expecting the Halo Infinite multiplayer beta to be drastically different from the full launch. I would optimistically one more map. Maybe they had one more big team battle map, and that's and an event. Maybe that's the rollout, the seasonal holiday event with the leaked snowman head. That's your 1.0 version. That's the full version of this. So I wrote our review for Windows Central, and I wrote this as a review in progress for Halo Infinite's multiplayer beta. And I basically, it's a full review. It's 2,000 words, so there's a lot on it. The good, the bad, all that stuff. But we didn't put a score on it. I didn't attach a score, and that's just due to the fact that there is the possibility that this could change in some
Right.
capacity for launch. So it's room for
So
error. I have
let me
my
ask you this. Let me ask you this then. So on December 8th, it comes. You wake up. You're like, let's see what Halo's got. It's full release day, and you go in there and you're like, all right. And you see that literally everything is the exact same. Are you then gonna go press update on your review, no longer call it in progress, and then give it
yes.
a score and say this is the review for the multiplayer?
Yes, if nothing changes launch day, I have my number ready to go. I will take some notes on if progression or challenges are tweaked at all, and it'll be live. It'll be live within minutes. If nothing's changed, I know exactly the score I'm giving this game based on what's here and based on the what I like about it and the issues I have with it. So I think we're on the same page that people expecting a huge amount of content for the official version of this probably should dial those expectations back drastically. But
And no,
well,
I've seen people say that they expect 13 new maps to drop on the 8th. Because there's 10 maps right now, right? 7 smaller arena maps and 3 big team battle maps, and that the rest of the maps are going to drop on the 8th. So 13 for 23, which would be a lot of maps. A lot of 23 maps. That's a large quantity. Do
um,
you? And this was all data mined, right? This is where
mhm.
all this info come from. I personally don't think 13 maps are going to drop on December 8th. I could be wrong. I mean, it would be nice to be wrong. Like even just getting like 5 more maps would be really nice. But I don't think we're going to be seeing 13 maps on the 8th. Something
No.
just tells me it's just like those 13 maps are maybe kind of like these are the 13 maps we're going to spread out for the rest of the year type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Um,
I didn't want to say this ahead of launch because people get defensive with Halo and people try to accuse people of just pushing unnecessary fear or concerns regarding the game. But there, in my eyes, there was a specific reason they were not advertising the number of maps for multiplayer at launch, because they knew the slate of maps available at launch for this game was not going to be like Call of Duty, where you could advertise over 20 maps, or Battlefield. They knew what they were going to have available at launch, and they wanted to make sure what they had available at launch was tight and polished. And I respect that. I get that. But yes, if they were going to have 20 some maps at launch, you would have heard that. You would have heard 20 maps at launch, hands down. It doesn't sound that cool to say we have 10 maps at launch. Like that's not very exciting. That's not a big sexy number to throw around, and that's why they aren't flexing it, because they know what they're going to be able to offer, and I don't think we're going to have 23 maps on launch day. I do think there is a chance we get that elimination mode. I don't know if you've looked in the achievements, but there is a mode called Elimination, which has an achievement where you revive a Spartan,
mhm.
revive an ally Spartan. I do think maybe we see that mode, or one or two other modes incorporated for launch.
I mean, they just added Team Fiesta, so yeah, modes I think are definitely like modes that you can add anytime you want. Maps a different story, I think personally. So yeah, I do think there might be more modes. So
Okay,
could be
I
right
got
on
a
that one.
quick quote from Andrew de Villiers. Villiers? who says 343 has stated they will not be adding any new maps or game modes on or before 12.8. This is all we are getting on 12.8. This is the date. Where's that quote coming from? Can I ask? I just want to make sure that that's good information, because Andrew is saying that there's a quote that this is it. What we have right now is 100% the launch product on December 8th. This is all we're getting, Rand.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought it was all we were getting,
Yeah.
but I guess we have to wait and see. Some people won't, think that's true until December 8th's here and they, go to play the game and don't see it. But, I guess it revolves back to that question then. Like, if that's the case, if nothing changes, then the beta that what we have right now here is the full multiplayer, at least for what it is right now. Also, just like Apex Legends or Fortnite, Halo Infinite 2 years from now is going to be completely different than Halo Infinite right now, just like Grounded is.
Yep.
So this is just the beginning, as they say.
This is
beginning of your Spartan journey, right?
Yes, and I love Halo. I love. Let me preface, but I love Halo. Halo Infinite is amazing. I'm playing a ton of Halo Infinite. I find it a little lame how they've incorporated this ongoing game as part of the marketing. I find that kind of slightly disingenuous that they are selling this begin your Spartan journey and this ongoing ongoing game as basically a reason that the launch is not as packed as some people might expect. I find that a little bit disingenuous.
Let me get this straight. So you're okay with Halo Infinite being a live service game, but you don't like them advertising it like advertising like that's a selling point to the game essentially.
Yeah, I am totally fine with Halo growing and evolving. I totally understand that. But the fact that they are using that marketing as a way to basically skirt criticism, and then a lot of fans online are saying this is an ongoing game, it's going to change, it's going to evolve, there's going to be more stuff. It's a way to skirt a lot of the criticisms of what's available at launch, in my eyes. Again, loving the game. You'll when you read my full review, if you're a Halo fan, I'm sure you'll be very happy with it. But I do think that is a little bit, I don't want to say manipulative because that seems a little extreme, but I just think it's kind of the darker side of this ongoing game and this idea that what we play at launch doesn't have to be that much because there will be more eventually. Where do you stand on that?
I mean,
am I out of line?
I do recall, what was it? Joseph State in an interview was like, when they announced co-op was delayed and that Forge wasn't going to get delayed, it was like, we just needed to get the game out the door and blah, 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 blah. Like,
they used the ongoing game thing there as well to be like,
yeah,
this is the start of your Spartan journey, blah, blah, blah. We're going to continue to add content to the game with these seasonal updates. And they used that ongoing game philosophy to downplay features that they promised multiple times for launch. And I think that's a little bit lame.
Yeah, I mean, it's co-op being there day one would have been really nice.
Yeah.
Forge being there day one would have been really nice because you'd have a lot more maps to play through, right? People could make their own game types and stuff. Like, that would help out a lot. I think using the justification that the game evolves over time as an excuse for not having that at launch and being like, well, we need to launch the game first, and it's not going to be like what Halo's going to be 2 years from now isn't what it's going to be now. It's like, yeah, I agree with you. It's not the best, but like, they're going to try to sell people on the game as best they can.
Exactly, and I get it. Like, it's not doom and gloom. Like, Halo Infinite still is
some people are going to think you're doom and gloom.
One of the best
Niles.
shooters you can play right now. Like, I absolutely love Halo Infinite. Like I said, almost have 2 days of playtime. I will continue to keep playing this, and I will be along for this Spartan journey, if you will. Gene Park wrote an interesting article recently talking about how a lot of the criticisms that are coming out regarding Halo Infinite show a generational divide. Like legacy players who've been playing games for a long time, been playing Halo for a while, have a certain expectation of what Halo should be and should ship with, and they are more vocal about holding 343 accountable, whereas a newer generation kind of is used to this ongoing game service. They're more accustomed to that, and so therefore they are more willing to kind of be fine with or ignore, what could have been at launch. So what do you think about that? Are we just boomers? Am I just a Halo boomer and that's why I'm complaining?
Some people would say you're dooming right now, Miles.
I,
I'm sure there's
I
probably even people in chat right now that are saying Miles is dooming.
I'm
Xbox,
not dooming.
rip Xbox and rip Halo right now, man, bro. You
Bro,
know,
Halo dead, dude. 2 weeks from now, dead.
can't can't
Sorry.
wait to read your 5 out of 10 review of Halo multiplayer on the 8th.
I'm gonna give it a
You know,
I'm gonna give it a 6.9. Okay.
6.9.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty generous with it.
I do agree with Gene Wolfe. You said his name was right.
Gene Park.
Gene Park. I do think there is Gene Wolfe. I don't know why I said Gene Wolfe. There is a generational divide, and also I do think there's also a lot of people that Halo Infinite is their first foray into the free to play monetization experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you have these things clashing. You have, okay, I've been playing Halo forever. I expect X, Y, and Z to be my Halo games.
Yep.
I expect these customization options, all this stuff. And then it's not there. And what is there is slow to dole out. Some of the stuff you have to pay for. And they're like, well, this isn't what I've always had for my Halo customization. So this feels wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, the newer people are just kind of like, yeah, whatever, this is the way you roll with it. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex Legends, like whatever. Do the battle pass, get the stuff, right? But then also, I think there's a generation where a lot of people, this is their first free to play game. So they're like shocked by the monetization aspects. They're shocked by
seeing those
how
price
much
tags for
yeah,
a
like
small armor set is $20.
yeah,
But that
essentially.
being said, like I play a lot of Pokemon Unite. Pokemon Unite has a battle pass. Pokemon Unite has, cosmetics that you can buy. Pokemon Unite has $40 skins, Rand. There is a $40 Lucario skin in Pokemon Unite. Granted,
Does any-
you look like you're from Bloodborne, so it's pretty damn sick, but I'm not paying $40 for that skin. So I will say that the people saying that Halo Infinite's monetization is like egregious and like terrible in the free to play space, in the grand scheme of things, it's not. It's not. It's expensive, and that's the sort of free to play monetization that we know, because that's kind of the driving force of this game is customization. And if you play this a lot and this is your main game, you want to have that distinction from players. And so they know that, and they're going to sell you these expensive skins because you can justify to yourself because, hey, I've put in 50 hours. I can pay $30 for a skin or a couple skins. Like it's whatever. Like I play this game every day and I'll play this game every day for months. Like I can do this. And then over time you're spending more and more, and that's just free to play. That's just the free to play model. So I don't think Halo Infinite is more expensive or more egregious than any other free to play game. It is definitely not that different from most free to play games though. And I think that's where maybe some of the concerns come from, because like you mentioned, there's a camp of people, this is their first foray in a free to play game. So they are just have that shock, that price tag shock of seeing this and understanding how expensive this stuff is.
yeah,
And then there's another camp of people who, I guess I'm in this camp where I was just kind of maybe hoping for 343 to innovate a little bit more, have a model that's a little bit more rewarding and not just what we know as a free to play game. Maybe that was unfair of me to expect 343 to come out and reinvent the wheel here, but it's a free to play game in every sense in my eyes right now.
even like some like Valorant has like $80 skins
Yeah,
for gun.
Valorant has So
which
there are
is
way worse
whew.
examples than Halo Infinite for monetization in the free to play
Although I
space.
mean, like, Halo Infinite, I don't think the prices are too extravagant, but who at 343 decided that I can't put a sword? If I buy a sword for $15, I should be able to put that sword on all my armors, not just one. Like, I'm fine with pricing and buying things like, I see a lot of people asking for rec packs to be back and loot boxes and stuff.
Oh no. Oh
What
no.
I do take issue with, and it makes 343 look greedy, is okay, you get this armor. You have 3 armor sets right now, like what, Mark 5, Mark 7, and the
And
samurai armor, right?
Yori, is that how you say it?
Yeah, but like none of the if you get like a purple thing for Mark 5, you can't use it on your Mark 7 or your samurai. If you buy the sword, you only get it for your samurai, but not for the other two. And it just doesn't it feels a little slimy, especially when you can play bot matches and see that the bots actually
Can mix and match.
uh mix and match the components. So it's like it can be done because the bots are doing it, but they're not letting you do it. And the only reason why you can think to yourself is because, well, they want you to buy that for that one too. I don't like that personally. Like, that's one of the things where I'm just like, man, you just get purple. Why can't you just have purple on all your dudes? Why is it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, if I buy a sword for $15, which is a steep price, I should be able to put sword on all my armors, right? Is that too much to
Is
ask
that
for,
too much
Miles?
to ask? No, Rand, I don't think that's too much to ask for. There's a lot of people complaining about the armor core system, and again, like it's hard to bring up criticisms of Halo Infinite right now because there's a lot of people who are trying to dismiss any criticism as FUD of the game, and that's not the case here. There are metrics and mechanics built into this game that are designed to sell you more things. It's a free to play game. Psychologically, uh, financially, they are trying to sell you things. And we could look at the current system for playlists and weekly challenges and the armor cores and say, the reason these are all so restrictive is because this gives them more content to put in battle passes, and this gives them more content to sell a la carte. You want purple for the Mark 7 and the Yori? Well, you got to buy them separately. Like we're going to have a separate bundle, and if purple is your favorite color and you really, really want purple for your Yori costume, even though you have it for other cores, you got to buy it. And again, it's not doom and gloom, but this is free to play gaming. This is
It's something I think they can fix too. I don't
yes.
think this is something along the way where it's like they can't. It's just I don't know who thought it was a good idea.
Um
Like I just really, honestly, who,
if you're trying
who,
listen, if you're trying to make money on a free to play game, it's a good
sure,
idea. It's a good idea.
but you don't have to be so transparently greedy in that sense,
Are you
right?
calling
Like,
343 Industries greedy, Rand?
yes, yes. If I can't, if I buy something in the store for money, I should be able to use it on any of the cores I want. Like, I shouldn't.
You're so
Like,
entitled, Rand. You're so freaking
I guess
entitled,
so.
dude.
It just that's where it's like I don't mind that the sword is $15. I do see some people freaking out like, do you believe 343 selling a sword and an emblem for $15? It's like, listen, the market's gonna bear what the market's gonna bear. People are gonna pay for it or they won't. And if nobody buys it, then the prices will go down and people will buy it. But like, price is the price. I don't have the problem with the price of stuff, right?
Let me tell you, Rand, I've seen some swords in some matches. So you can't tell me that no one's paying $15 for a
Right, but
sword because
my issue is like you buy the sword, you can only use it on one. And so it's
Mhm.
like that just seems greedy to me that they wouldn't let you use it on the other two. Like you already, I don't know. And I don't know if you listened to our buddy Cold Eastwood's podcast on Monday where he had Khalif and he had Lord Cognito on.
Mhm.
They started talking about their Ashy Spartans,
Oh,
and
yes. Yes.
they thought that the armor coating that you start with is kind of not great looking, right? Like you start playing the game and you get those colors and it's just like it's just some little dirty, a little bit, a little ashy. But then, like, all the armors they sell in the store for money are all the
Just
bright,
sparkle, just
vibrant,
ooh,
vivid,
just
and you just look
glossed.
and it's just like, did they do that on purpose? Did they do that on purpose to make those armor coatings not pop? So when you saw those ones that do pop with some great colors, you're just like, I feel like I need to spend money so I actually look good, you know? Plus, it doesn't help 343 that people are rolling back the video of the guy being like, we're gonna have millions of customizations at the launch of the game, and everybody's gonna look unique when like literally everybody looks the same as everybody else at this point. Sure, everybody will look unique 4 years from now when they've had 14 or 15 battle passes and introduced all these armor
Jesus.
things, but like right now, like literally everybody looks the same. And they're
That's my
throwing back
biggest
the
complaint.
words in. You know what they throw their 343's own words back at them and stuff. So it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, listen, the multiplayer is amazing.
It
It's going to
is.
review very well.
Yes, no
Uh,
question.
it's just that the controversy right now is factored towards the progression and how I can get 50 kills and I could get
You get 50 XP, baby.
3 captures. I got 50 XP, boy. I'm moving up in
Oh,
the
yeah.
world,
You do that 20
right?
times, you get a level, son. 20 matches and a level. Oh, whoa, whoa.
And to someone like, look, I don't even go after the challenges when I play. 'Cause I don't like things that artificially make me change um my
It,
play style. Like
yes. Yeah.
looking for a weapon I never use or whatever. Like one of our buddies was stuck on a challenge. He needed like backstrike 4 people in a match. And like that's all he would do. He wouldn't like do anything else. He was just searching out for 4 enemies to back like, and it was basically we were carrying somebody who wasn't playing, and we lost like 3 games in a row because of it. Specifically because he wasn't shooting his guns, he wasn't doing anything but trying to sneak up behind people. Like, I'm sorry, like your challenge that you're trying to do is now affecting my personal enjoyment of the game. Like, I'm not a fan of the challenge system, Miles, if you could tell. Like, but then
It's
again, I don't care about the battle pass. So like, I don't
okay.
care about progressing either
Yeah.
way. But um, yeah, I know I'm not looking at chat right now. I have another window up, but like, I can imagine people are like, man, Rand and Miles are just hating so much on
No,
Halo right
there's
now.
I
They're
think
dooming and
there's
glooming.
some good conversations going on in the chat. I think a lot of people understand that we like Halo. I would say I love Halo. So I want this experience to be the best. And like you pointed out, it's frustrating for me that people can go online and say that 343 Industries lied, quote unquote, and then they can use, stuff that 343 Industries said and, kind of confirm these quote unquote lies. And it's like you said, at a certain point there will be loads of customization options, but the options available like at launch when you just open the game are so whack, so lame. Like you have no options to customize your character. So we like new players that everyone looks exactly the same. We're going to be in a
Yeah.
world for months and months where there's 2 looks. Or there's 3 looks. The people who buy the MLG skins, the people who are a samurai, and the people who are the dusty Spartan. And we're going to have that for 6 months, Rand. It's going to be a long
Yeah.
time before we move past that.
Yeah, and
So
I do think they'll change some of the monetization stuff, and they'll definitely fix progression. So I'm not really worried about those things.
mhm.
It's it's it I because I think 343 has been pretty good at taking feedback, and I think they know that people might fall off the game. Look, it'll come down to this, right? Why does anybody need to progress towards something to play a game, right?
Yeah.
You should just play to have fun.
Yeah,
And yeah, we all
absolutely.
used to play to have fun. We played Halo 2 back in the day to just have fun. But at some point, right around 2007, Call of Duty Modern Warfare introduced RPG mechanics into modern shooters. And ever since then, the genre needed progression in their shooters. And if you
Mhm.
didn't have it, you were dead, right? So, for whatever reason, even if Halo Infinite is a lot of fun, and people will say this, like, I'm having a lot of fun of Halo Infinite, but I don't feel, it doesn't feel rewarding to dominate another team and then basically get the same amount of XP that the other team's gonna get, or that someone who only got 2 kills on my team got. It doesn't feel rewarding, and the progression is so slow that it impacts their enjoyment and desire to play longer. Right? I think 343 understands that, and
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
they will tweak it to make people like, because look, they want Halo 343 wants this to be your everyday game.
Yes.
Just like Epic wants Fortnite to be your everyday game, or EA wants you to play Apex all the time, or Grand Theft Auto, or whatever. 343 wants you to play this all the time. And they understand that if people aren't happy with the progression or any of that stuff, that those could be cause for reasons to stop playing the game. And once you stop playing the game, do they come back and play? Maybe they go back and play the other games they were playing. So I think they'll fix it. I think they'll fix it fast enough where we won't really be talking too much about the progression aspects of it. Um, but yeah, it's just at this point, part of me just like, man, who thought this was a good idea in the first place? Because Miles. You know what Jez always says on Xbox too?
What?
That Microsoft and Xbox is a data-driven company. A lot of the decisions they make are based on the troves and troves of data they have from the millions and billions of people that connect to their services, right? And so we know it's a fact. Like, they have a lot of market research, a lot of data that drives a lot of their decisions. And sometimes they can look aloof because it's like, oh, it kind of takes like the human element out of it, right? If you're always just looking at data.
Yes.
So a part of me is just like, what data and market research and user research did 343 use to determine that challenges was the best way to progress in Halo Infinite? Even though there's other games in the market for years now that have had battle passes and have done free to play for a long time, I just kind of sit there and I'm like, man, like, what data did they use to determine that this was the best way to go about it?
Let me get to that in just a sec. I gotta give a quick shout out to the 320 people rocking with us. I see amazing folks like Colt Eastwood, Fonzarelli, Mr. Joanna Dark, Poochie, and so many more. If you guys are digging the show, hit that like button, share it out, and Rand. What frustrates me the most, since we're on the topic of the progression system, and in addition to my 2,000 word review about of Halo Infinite's multiplayer, I also wrote 2,000 words on the progression system and why it's not ideal and how they can tweak it to make it more rewarding. What's most frustrating is they completely ignored the other games that they've put out with progression passes. Gears 5, when that came out, people were so pissed off about that progression system because there's so many parallels to that progression system and Halo Infinite. The high single purchase items, the really tedious challenges that are just a gruel to progress. Like, there are so many parallels between the launch of Gears 5 and Halo Infinite, and people were so annoyed. As it stands now, Gears 5 has made huge strides, and they have an incredibly rewarding progression system with pages and pages of challenges and all these ways to earn in-game currency, which you can then use that currency to buy premium items within the game. And then eventually they rotate all of their premium items out of the premium shop and then put them into the in-game currency shop. So if you just wait and grind, you can unlock those. Sure, Gears 5 is not free inherently. It's not a free game, but it uses, a lot of the same engagement principles that free-to-play games do and keeping people coming back. Sea of Thieves, in my opinion, has the best Microsoft first-party battle pass, if you will. Their free tier and their paid tier, everything you do in the game gives you credit in these 100 levels of renown. You talked about how you don't like the challenges because they force you to play a specific way. Sea of Thieves is the polar opposite of that. They reward you for everything. If you want to sit on a dock for 8 hours and fish, you will gain experience in your battle pass. If you want to just literally sail around the ocean in your ship, you will get progress towards your battle pass for that. Everything you do and how you want to play drives progress. And I think Halo Infinite can borrow so much from that because, like you said, I don't want to have to be that annoying guy who's like, I don't care if we win this match at all. I need to finish these challenges. Sorry. I'm going to find the shock rifle. I'm going to sit in the back and I'm going to get shock rifle kills. and that's it, because it doesn't matter. I don't get anything for winning. So I don't care about winning. I just want to progress in this pass. And I think that, like you touched on, drives a lot of, especially with objective modes, a lot of negative behavior from your teammates, because it becomes less about winning the match, playing the objective, and more about completing your challenges, which are completely opposite in most cases to the objective. So like you said, Microsoft has research. They use data. They also have a lot of feedback from their own games, which seems to be completely ignored with Halo Infinite. And that's the part that's annoying, is that they've made these missteps before and they've corrected them. They've learned from them, and then they're going to do it again, and we just have to wait a couple years, like Sea of Thieves, for it to be this rewarding experience that it is now, or Gears wait 8 months to a year for it before it's a rewarding experience. It's just disappointing, because they do know better. They have to know better.
I think also it's also I was going to use a big word and I totally forgot how to say the big word.
Spell it for me.
Exasperate. Blah, blah, blah.
Exasperate.
Anyways, exasperate. Yeah, is because you can't choose what mode you want to play. You want to play Slayer? You gotta hope you get Slayer, otherwise you might just get oddball or capture a flag or whatever, right?
Tinfoil hat time. Tinfoil hat, real quick.
Okay, give me tinfoil.
Am I the only one who noticed that every time I have a challenge to play a specific mode, I don't get it? Like, I had to play a match of Stockpile. It took me 12 matches of Big Team Battle to get a Stockpile match. That was a couple days of playing Big Team Battle to complete that. And then when I don't have a challenge for Stockpile, I get it 20 times. What's going on here?
People, I think, look, people really love Team Fiesta, which is tied to the new event, right?
Yeah, it's a blast. It's so much fun.
But then you probably are thinking that once this event's over, so's Team Fiesta is gone, right? Where's Team SWAT? Where's Doubles? Where's King of the Hill? Like, where's Infection? I don't know. Like, I think that is, look, I think the progression will be fixed. I'm just kind of curious, like, how it launched like this in the first place. That's kind of just my, like, flying the wall thing. Like, what made them decide this? Like,
yeah,
we could talk all day about conspiracy theories about, like, hey, Ashy Spartans, since Cold Eastwood's in the chat, right? Like, did they make it look like this and then have the other armor look like this? So they kind of want, subtly make you kind of want to spend some money, right? Like the economics of all that. But then there's part of me, it's like, you have quick play, and you have Big Team Battle, and you have ranked.
That's it. That is it.
Like, why aren't there more options? Like, why is it just that? Are you that afraid that you wouldn't have the population if you split off and just say, okay, here's Slayer and here's Team Slayer? That, like, the amount of people who wanted to play objective would be so low that, like, nobody would choose them, so, like, you wouldn't be able to get games for them. Like, what's the thought process of taking the modes that people love about Halo, not even include? I know what it is, because it's live serve and Smiles. So Team SWAT and Doubles will come back 5 months from now, or in a limited time mode. You're like, hey, this January when the Samurai armor comes back again, they'd be like, hey guys, Samurai armor's back, and guess what? It's Team SWAT time. Team SWAT's back for a week. Live service game, changes all time, and a month from now, it's, hey guys, Doubles is back. Doubles is here for a week, and Doubles is gone, right? Like,
I'm seeing a lot of people in chat saying this is just a beta. So
sure. I mean, there is a very good chance, possibly, that on December 8th, maybe they split that stuff off, and it's no longer just quick play, Big Team Battle, that you can actually choose which modes you want to play.
Yeah,
and that would be better than what it is right now, for sure. And like I said, I do think they'll take the feedback that people are giving to them, which is why it's important always to, like, speak up about things, because Xbox, as we know, they're always listening about everything, and they're quick to, this is one of those things where it's like, hey, nobody said anything about Xbox wanting to raise the prices of Xbox Live Gold to $120 a year from $60. If everybody just stayed quiet about it, and didn't say anything, they would have gladly have pushed that through, and we would just all been sitting there as good Xbox fans, being like, "Don't rock the boat. Don't criticize your favorite thing because that's mean. You're a fan, and you should never criticize the company that you like." And we all would have sat still, and they would have charged 120 bucks, and then whatever. So it's like I understand there are definitely Xbox fans out there listening to this or seeing people talk about this, and they're like, why are they talking about monetization? Why are they talking about progression? Why are they talking about X, Y, and Z? Because the game's really good and blah blah
Yep.
blah 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 blah. And I get it, but um, I don't know, those things are important that need to be talked about. And the only way that 343 knows that people don't like it is by talking about it. So like they have said they're actively looking to change it. So it's like, of course, you got to speak up about like how you feel about something. So I it's sometimes it's just easier to talk about, I don't know, the small criticisms you have about an overwhelmingly like game that is ridiculously good, right?
Yeah, and
Because
that's
you
I
could
think
sit
that's
here,
the
me and you
reason
could
there are
talk
so
about.
many.
No,
Right.
me and you could talk here about like all the great things like that Halo's doing. Like I'm sure you and Jeff Grubb did last week, right? Jeff Grubb
Yeah,
loving the game,
yeah.
right? I see him streaming on Twitch. We've been talking about Halo for how I mean, we've talked about it during the flights and we're talking about it now, and it's like, yeah, the game's amazing. Like, what else? Like, it's throwback to Halo 3 that we always wanted with modern improvements, and it's the best Halo game that 343's ever made. Like, free to play is going to bring in an audience that it's never had before, and Halo's going to retain, Return of the King,
Yes.
but like if you I don't know. Like, I also feel like, well, okay, the progression's bad and that needs to change, and okay, they're doing it. Monetization isn't as egregious as some people think, but the idea of buying something but only being locked to one armor core, I think, is greedy. I think like needs to be said. And then like not being able to pick the mode you want to play is just. Sometimes I don't want to play Oddball Miles. I just
Dude,
want to
don't
play
get me
some
started on
Slayer.
Oddball, dude. Don't.
You
Don't get me
know?
started.
I don't know.
So yeah, I think that's the reason that there are so many conversations about the problems with Halo Infinite as it stands is because the package is so overwhelmingly good. There is so much to love here that people are just they're focusing on these little details that are just the weird obscure things in an otherwise perfect package that it's hard to ignore them when the gameplay is tight, when the map design is incredible, when the sound design is some of the best sound design of any game I've ever played. Like all of these elements make Halo Infinite a blast, and I love it. And when you're in a match, it feels so good. The moment-to-moment gameplay in Halo, as I've said numerous times, is probably the best that I can think of any shooter. Like if I'm talking about any shooter that I can play right now, no game makes me feel as good and in the combat in the moment as Halo Infinite does. So it's not that Halo Infinite's bad or that Halo Infinite's doomed or any of that. It's just that there are certain things that are fundamentally wrong with this package that can be tweaked. And as we've heard from 343, they are very receptive to feedback. They are listening. They are taking that feedback and they're going to adjust the game accordingly. And that's important. We talked previously about our expectations for the beta. And so for the people who are saying this is only a beta, you need to realize that when this launches on December 8th, not a great deal is going to be changed. We saw some people in the chat earlier quoting folks saying that the game will not be changed at all from the beta on day one for launch. So again, that is something to be aware of when you're using the beta defense, because this isn't a typical beta. This is basically a celebration of the anniversary, dropping most of this package a little bit early. And again, we don't know 100% sure what's going to be there on day one, but to expect that this is going to be completely changed on day one, I think is pretty unrealistic right now. But yeah, I think bottom line here is people are excited about Halo. People are loving Halo. People who Halo's never clicked with before are playing Halo Infinite and loving Halo Infinite, and that's huge. And there's gonna be a ton of people playing Halo, being excited about Halo. And if they tweak these few minor things in the grand scheme of things, when you look at everything that 343 has done right, if they change the things that people are complaining about and there's nothing to complain about, imagine that world. Imagine a Halo game where nobody can complain about something. There's something for everyone. It is the ultimate Halo offering, because that's what all the Halo fans want, and that's why there's so many passionate conversations, is they want this to be the best Halo that's ever existed in every single way. And so when you have those obvious standouts that aren't that, it's hard to ignore them. And I think you're right. I think it's worth talking about.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, so we're gonna move off Halo. We've talked a lot about Halo. We could keep talking about Halo, but what I want to talk about now, Rand, is the Game Awards. I spent a little time with Jeffy Jeff.
Here we go.
Jeffy Jeff Grubb last week about talking about the Game Awards, talking about the nominees, the overall kind of vibe of the Game Awards. So what I want to talk about today is what are your picks? I asked Jeff Grubb this last week. What are your 6 games that are the Rand al Thor 19 Game of the Year 2021 contenders right now?
And first off, it's not Jeffrey Grubb. It's Jeff Grubb. Okay.
Okay. Apologies.
Jeff Grubb. Hitman 3 would be one.
Ooh. Okay.
I think Hitman 3 was an incredible game that nobody remembers because it released in January.
Yep.
It Takes Two would be a second one. I love It Takes Two. Returnal would be number 3. For me, these aren't in any particular order, by the way.
Oh yeah.
They're just games that would be in my list. Returnal would be 3. Resident Evil 8 would be in there. Psychonauts 2 would be in there. And trying to think, probably Forza Horizon 5. I'm trying to think of there's been a lot of games, but
yeah, it's been a
feel
good year.
Overly strongly about one of them being the definitive game of the year.
The GOAT.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's they all have some I feel very much all the same about them. I love Hitman 3 and Forza and Psychonauts and Returnal, and It Takes Two. Pretty much all the same. It's in previous years, there's always one that rose above the pack and was this is it.
This is
this one is just kind of I know it's Resident Evil 8 for you. I don't even need to
yeah.
I'm sure your Windows Central Award.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah.
Resident
Evil 8.
Yeah, as you saw the Windows Central Game Awards, we did ours, and the right game won Game of the Year. Congrats to Resident Evil Village, the obvious choice for Game of the Year 2021, and then most anticipated game, Elden Ring. So I think we nailed it. The 2 most important categories we successfully handled and awarded the right game. So that's where I'm at.
You got 310 people watching, Miles.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It'd be nice if they hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? If you're enjoying the show,
yes,
that like button.
Smash that like button. Share it out. Let's get this to 1,000 viewers in the next 13 minutes. And yeah. So yeah, it's been a really good year. It's been a really good year for gaming. There are a lot of obviously, passionate conversations about the games that should and should not be nominated. And again, it is kind of weird having all these games like It Takes Two. That game completely caught me by surprise. I wasn't sure what to expect from that. And I was shocked that it came out as one of the best 3D platformers I've played since Super Mario Odyssey. That game absolutely delivered on everything I wanted it to. And yeah, like I said earlier, Tales of Arise, was not expecting that to be in my list, but that is one of the best action RPGs I've played in a very, very long time as well. So historically, Rand, Xbox likes Jeff. Xbox likes Jeff Keighley. They like his show. They like his format, and they've actually gave him some pretty massive Xbox related reveals. More recently, we got the release date for Halo Infinite, and before that, Xbox revealed the Xbox Series X and Hellblade 2 and Perfect Dark at Jeff's shows. So they've set this precedent of we're going to give Jeff something big. There's a lot of eyes on Jeff's show. We like what Jeff does with the show, and we want to, save some reveals for that. So, Rand, what are you expecting from Xbox at the Game Awards 2021 in terms of updates, reveals, and announcements?
Specifically to Xbox?
Yes, specifically to Xbox.
I think Hellblade 2 will be there.
Okay. Well, are we finally getting the gameplay trailer, or is this a CG trailer? Because they gave us an update not that long ago saying like, here's where we are in the production pipeline. We still have a little ways to go. Do you think we're getting gameplay, or is it too early?
That's a good question.
And
maybe we see a slice of it.
And if it isn't gameplay, do you want another CG trailer? Would that still be a big hype moment for you, or would you be slightly disappointed if we got another Hellblade trailer that was just a teaser?
I'll let you know when we see it. I'll let you know if it's hype or if it's just another CGI trailer.
Because that first CGI trailer was that was hype.
It was.
Ooh,
and then we got to see some at this year's E3 as well. Remember, they kind of threw together some stuff. Is now that we're a second time, is this where they show off the gameplay, or are we gonna get like a story trailer? I don't really know. Maybe I think there'll be like some Game Pass stuff. They always kind of do Game Pass stuff, I think, around the show. Maybe Avowed shows up.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Avowed.
Maybe not. I think there's definitely going to be one with a good possibility of 2 games shown. I don't know if there'll be like a new game reveal from Game Studios. It's hard to really tell. Like Xbox has a lot they can show, but we don't know like if they're saving it for next year. That's why I feel confident enough in Hellblade. But anything else after that would be, a surprise.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's tough to say for sure whether or not we'll see a big new Xbox reveal. They've set the precedent of one though with Hellblade 2, with Perfect Dark. So there is, there's logical reason to speculate we might get something brand new entirely. But there are also projects we can point to like Redfall, which is supposed to come out this summer. Redfall is supposed to drop in summer of 2022, and we haven't seen gameplay yet. There was some leak stuff going around, so I could maybe see a official gameplay trailer for Redfall that shows players more of what that game is. I would love to see gameplay for Avowed. I would love to see how that's going to play. But yeah, it's tough to speculate on, with everything that Xbox has in their pipeline, what they are actually going to show at the Game Awards. They have some stuff they could certainly tease, some projects that are a ways out, definitely won't have gameplay for, that they could reveal to kind of keep the hype going. And then they have legacy projects like Everwild, State of Decay 3 that we know are in development, but we don't know what stage they're really at. Everwild and State of Decay 3 probably don't have gameplay ready to show yet. So do they keep those in the conversations with a new trailer, or do they just focus on something else? So it's wild when you think that there are over a dozen possibilities for what Xbox could show in terms of games at the Game Awards. That's not something that we would have ever considered maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But the current future portfolio of Xbox Game Studios right now it's massive. It is massive, Rand, and that's if we ignore the partner titles. Like maybe we see gameplay for Contraband. Maybe we see Project Shaolin. Some of those other titles get revealed. It's there's some potential. There's some potential.
And we only got a couple weeks to find out, right?
I know. On my birthday, December 9th. Hopefully Jeff does something cool, something nice for me. I doubt he will, but
new Elden Ring trailer?
I'd take it. I mean, I've played it. So
I know, so you don't need a trailer.
Now I've played enough where I'm like, if they do another flight, I don't think I would play it. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I played enough. Like that test that they did was huge. You got a huge slice of the map. So now I'm just like, I've seen enough. Now I just want it to be out. I'm just gonna sit back, wait patiently, and you like Dark Souls stuff previously, or I should say you've played Soul stuff previously. Are you are you buying into the Elden Ring hype, or is it just another RPG for you?
I don't know. Tell me, does it play a lot like Sekiro?
No, it plays.
Then
There's
no,
elements
I'm
of
not in.
Sekiro in it. Like it's basically if you took Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro and you made that at the game, and then made it open world. That's what it feels like.
What is the combat more? If you had to say the combat, does it more resemble Sekiro or more resemble
Dark
Dark
Souls.
Souls?
Combat's
Uh,
way more Dark Souls than Sekiro for sure.
then my interest starts to wane. Because Sekiro is From Software's best game.
It's tough to debate that. I still say that as it stands, Dark Souls 3 is their greatest kind of accomplishment. But Sekiro, in terms of mechanics, in terms of overall presentation, 10 out of 10, hands down. Easily one of the best open world RPGs that you can play. It is hard. It's balls to the wall difficult. I would say it's more difficult than most of the Dark Souls in some ways, but they also did a really good job incorporating like Mega Man boss mechanics. So if you know the weakness of a boss, you can exploit that and make the fight a lot easier. But yeah, Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro. Like when I was doing the From Software Souls like power ranking for Windows Central, those were the two that I had the hardest time like giving the top spot to, because Sekiro is it's something special. Something. And it's better than Bloodborne, as much as people don't like to admit it. People hate to admit that anything's better than Bloodborne, but that's the world we live in, okay? I'm gonna get to a couple super chats here real quick, Rand. We got Lucius Augustus, who says, I just want coatings that I buy or earn to be attachable to anything, and not just one armor core or one gun. I will pay, but this is a bit much. So I think you and Lucius are pretty much on the exact same page there.
Yeah, I would imagine most people would want the things that they buy to be available for any armor that they have, not just one.
Yeah, I think if you're paying money, if you're paying, like you said, $10 to $15, I think that's fair to expect it to work on multiple armor sets. But I guess we're just old fashioned, Rand. We're not with it.
I mean, is there any? I mean, I can't imagine there's anybody out there defending that, right? I would imagine most people are like, yeah, it would be nice to have. I don't know. Like, is there people defending that?
We
Like,
could probably
I
find some, Rand, if we really
well, I mean,
wanted to go
I
down
could
that
see
hole.
people
But
like I could see people being like, man, don't harp too much on the progression because they said they're going to change that. They've already addressed that. But okay, fine, sure. Like, yeah, they have, but like, is there somebody really defending the idea of like, no, like they're totally right. You should only be able to use that $15 sword you spent on your samurai armor and not the other two armors. Like,
I hope not. You're literally advocating against your own best interests if you're defending that. But maybe. I'm sure if we went on Twitter, we could find some. There's some wild takes out there. Wild takes.
always are. There always are.
Harji Chani says, "Isn't this?" Or sorry. Oh, okay. This is regarding our Halo conversation. Isn't this kind of nitpicky? I honestly never cared about what my Spartan looked like in multiplayer. We were red or blue. It didn't matter. Campaign freebies already exist. You can change the color for free. Is it nitpicky? Are we just being nitpicky, Rand?
I mean, you can definitely say. I guess it depends on how much you really care about it. Like, if you're someone who doesn't care about any of the how your character looks, yeah, then someone talking about how their character looks is definitely going to be a nitpicky argument. Like, I don't care about how my character looks, so I'm not too hard pressed about like the battle pass. Like, in fact, my progression that I really want in the game is like, why isn't there an overall level progression? Like,
I find that incredibly weird.
like I don't care about the battle pass. I do think it's odd. What like as someone who like kind of just like, oh, I would love to know the decisions that went behind this thing. I look at the battle pass and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't care about the battle pass, but like I still kind of sit there and be like, why do they think challenges was a good idea? And like it's just my own curiosity. But at the same time, like, why don't I have an overall level I can aspire to? Why isn't there things that unlock at each of these overall levels? Like, hey, you hit level 5, here's a helmet or whatever. Like, so like there's no progression for people outside of the battle pass, which I think is weird. That may come later on. Like we said, it's a beta, as people say. So, but it's just like the fact that the game tallies up XP for you at the end of a match. Where's that XP going towards, Miles? Like you get 100 XP for a kill, but that doesn't. If where's it all going? Like, why is it adding up? Where say, hey, you earned 2,500 XP at the end of the match. Where does it go? There's no. So unless there's like they've already built in the XP system because they know later on they're going to add an overall progression system. Right? Does that not strike you as odd that you get all this XP for doing stuff in the game, but it doesn't add to anything?
It is. It's definitely odd, and you're right. Having no sort of progression or things to strive for outside of the battle pass is this is maybe the only free to play game I can think of that I played in recent memory that does this. I've played so many other games that have both the battle pass and progression outside of the battle pass in some way. Whether it's just like a page of challenges, even like a page of seasonal challenges would go a long way to give people something to strive for outside of these weeklies and these there are no dailies really. It's just the weekly challenges. But yeah, it is odd. It feels empty in some ways in terms of if we're just comparing it to other games in the same space, not just just Halo as an isolated thing. But if we're comparing Halo to other free to play games, there's usually something else to work towards. And I wonder if I assume it's coming later. I assume it was probably in the cards at some point, but due to whatever logistics, customization, item limits, content limits, they had to kind of push that and just focus on the battle pass progression. But I agree. It is odd. I want to feel like my medals that I earn, like when I pull off a grapple jack, when I pull off a 360 no scope. I want to get something for that. And again, some people don't care, and that's fine. The game is still fun. I still have fun when I play it, but if it was really fun and I got something at the end, I mean that's a win-win. Who's complaining then? But I do get that. Like I have a friend who when it's a first-person game doesn't care about how he looks because it's a first-person game. He's not ever looking at his own character outside of the menu. So he doesn't really care how he looks in the game, and I totally respect people who feel that way. And then it is just about playing the game for fun. And that's respectable. That is totally cool, but I just think the industry has shifted and the expectations of players have shifted to, obviously we expect the game to be fun. That should be an expectation of any game, is that it should be fun. But I would like to see a little bit more. Make it fun and rewarding. Is that too much to ask? Am I out of line, Rand?
I mean, yes, apparently, I guess.
Another super chat here from Harjeet Chani, who says, "Did you read? Yeah, got your last super on Game of the Year. I was led to believe that the Keeleys don't mean anything. So is Halo not in consideration for other Game of the Year awards?" Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, for obviously Windows Central, we had a deadline dictated by our kind of parent company and all that fun stuff. So Halo wasn't in consideration for ours because Halo was releasing before the deadline for what we had to do there. But I do think that Halo will be in the conversations for other Game of the Year conversations that aren't dictated by those kind of deadlines. I still think for a lot of people, a year is a year. So until December 31st, anything that comes out before then is in the conversations for Game of the Year. And I think among a lot of general fans, Halo will definitely be in those conversations. All the reviews are glowing. Halo multiplayer alone, if we're even if I'm completely ignoring the campaign, I don't need to play the campaign to know that Halo Infinite's multiplayer is one of my Game of the Year kind of conversation pieces right now. What about you, Rand?
What was the question?
So basically, is Halo going to be in the Game of the Year conversations for anyone?
I mean, I would assume it'll be in the Game of the Year discussions for certain outlets. Just the Keeleys have a timeline where they have to go by, so it wouldn't be available for them. But like, I guess it really depends on when other outlet like you guys already did yours. So it wasn't available for you guys, right? And I guess that really depends on when IGN's doing theirs and when Polygon's doing theirs and when
Hmm.
Kotaku's doing theirs. So there's a good chance. I mean, December 8th's not that too far from now, and I don't know when most of these companies do their game. When do most of these companies do their Game Awards a year stuff, anyways?
Well, we've already
Do you
had the
know?
golden joysticks. We're gonna have the Game Awards on the 8th. We did ours already.
Yeah,
I don't really know when like IGN and GameSpot and those other like Games Beat. I was talking to Jeff last week, and I don't think they've done theirs. So again, I'm not. I guess I'm not really sure. I feel like the last couple weeks of the year are a good time to do it. But then there's also the holidays to consider, and people are off for work. So I don't know. There's a lot of boring logistics stuff that probably dictate when people do those. But yeah, I don't think that Halo Infinite's not going to be in the game of the year conversations. It's just a lot of the official ones have all these boring metrics that they have to abide by that make it so it won't officially be in. And then we'll see, like we saw with Cyberpunk 2077, Halo Infinite will be in the Game Awards conversation next year. Um, so that'll be really interesting to see like where Halo is at one full year later when it gets brought up in the Game of the Year conversations again. Like what's evolved with the campaign? What's evolved with the multiplayer? Are all these conversations regarding the progression just silly trivial things of the past? I'm really curious to see, what Halo Infinite looks like 1 year from now.
yeah. I'm really curious to see what everything shakes out to be as well.
Oh, and then Proxicus is saying that BAFTA is in March. So
Okay,
again,
so yeah, yeah.
there's another one that could definitely Halo will definitely. It's again like I don't think anyone at this point has any doubts that Halo Infinite will not be a fantastic Halo game. We can have conversations once it releases whether or not this is the biggest and best Halo ever, but there have been no negative previews for the campaign. There have been no negative previews for the multiplayer. The multiplayer is mostly out at this point. Everyone knows that the multiplayer is fantastic. Um, so again, it's kind of funny because there was obviously a lot of drama and controversy and conversations about whether or not 343 is actually going to deliver because of all the development struggles with Halo Infinite. And now that people play it, that's just, oh, okay. There was no need to worry at the end of the day because 343 Industries seems to really get what makes Halo special. And they seem to be proving to the world that they know how to make a damn good Halo game. And I will be
Mhm.
so stoked for that team when this game drops and they can just move past the Bungie saga. They can hopefully move past the constant critiques that 343 isn't Bungie. And because they're not Bungie, I don't like them as much. I'm so stoked for that team to be able to move past that chapter in their lives.
Too.
Super chat from Mariano Pompa. Hey gents, do you guys think 343 Industry fears people will blow through the challenges and battle pass, which led to the decisions they made on multiplayer? Where do you feel on that, Rand? Do you think that because we got to talk about the fact that season one is extended to basically 6 months, from 3 months to 6 months here. So do you think there was some concerns because with that, extension that, maybe they had to pad these challenges, make the grind a little bit more than they initially anticipated and more than future seasons will have because of the basically double the length of the season?
I do think that
Okay.
I think there's maybe some truth to that, especially maybe even to the limited event. Um, where it's like they don't want people like 'cause, if it was just XP based or performance based, you could have someone max it out who no life's Halo and is like, I'm done with the battle pass in 2 weeks. What do you got for me? But with this, it's like, okay, so you kind of there's only so much you can get, right?
Hmm. Yes.
So it kind of meters it out and be like, okay, well, it's this first one, we'll do it for the first one because it's 6 months. But then after that, like, it's going to be different and it'll be 3 months and maybe we can change it up a lot more. So I do think there maybe there is some truth to that. What do you think?
I think that's definitely the case. I don't think the initial plans were to have season one be 6 months. But like I said, I know 343 Industries is taking some time off. And again, I have no qualms with that whatsoever. I think they deserve probably more time off than they're actually getting here, but I think a lot of it was like, yeah, we need to, the way our system is currently in place, we got to make sure there's something. Like you said, if somebody blasts through, if somebody was able to blast through all of these challenges in 2 weeks, they would have a long time to wait for something new in terms of progression outside of the kind of rotating challenges. Like we have the Tenrai event, and there's going to be another. What is the winter one called? I'm blanking on it.
Um,
But there's
I
another
don't know.
winter one that they've already announced as well. So there will be some rotating challenges in there to keep things fresh. But yeah, I think having a 6-month season makes it extra challenging, and it gives them time to tweak the system, balance it, and then I think by the time that season 2 rolls around, they will have all this data and all this feedback, and they'll be able to roll out season 2 and be like, this is 3 months. We have tweaked the rewards to make sure that this is a more consistently rewarding experience. And I think, once season 2 hits, that'll be when we see the true cadence of what this battle pass is supposed to feel like, or what they intend for it to feel like.
Yes, I feel the same.
But yeah, I think, season 1 it's as with most games that have a seasonal system, it's a learning experience. They're gauging what people like about it, what people don't like about it. And obviously this is a free to play game, and this is Microsoft's first foray into a big scale free to play game. And I think compared to a lot of other free to play games, Halo Infinite was probably very expensive. The budget for Halo
Yes,
Infinite is
very
very
expensive.
high, and you got
Very
you
expensive.
got to recoup some costs. As much as we want 343 Industries and Microsoft and Xbox to give us a bunch of free stuff and make it so we don't have to pay any money and we still get all this content and all these rewards, they do need to first and foremost recoup costs and then start making some money off of this. So it's a delicate balancing act, and obviously free to play is designed to make a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, I'm expecting the biggest changes to start coming probably closer to season 2, if I'm just being realistic with everything, because they have told us that the changes that a lot of the community are asking for will take some time. Will definitely take some time. So Rand, we're over
Yes,
2 hours
bro.
now. There was one other topic I wanted to get to, but I think we're gonna just skip that.
What was the
'Cause
topic you wanted to get hit?
it was just the current state of Xbox, basically.
Oh, the current. It's pretty
Yeah,
good right now. It's pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. So we'll do a short. Current state of Xbox, very good. Xbox has games.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. Xbox has a lot of Game of the Year contenders this year. So not only does Xbox have games, they have very good games that people really enjoy. And somehow, with Forza Horizon 5 and Halo, Xbox Game Studios has successfully converted a ton of people on 2 long-running franchises, which is remarkable. To see so many people playing Halo who have skipped Halo, didn't like Halo, and to see so many people sharing awesome clips and screenshots of Forza Horizon 5, that's impressive, Rand. And we got to
Yes.
celebrate that.
No, I mean this is kind of what people wanted. They wanted great games, right? They wanted Xbox to like turn the corner from the the 60 meta stuff, the crackdowns and the early Sea of Thieves,
Early
State
Sea
of
of Thieves,
Decay,
State of Decay
right?
2. Yep, yep.
And they did. I mean, so even though like the first 6 months of this year, first 7 months were a little bit dry from first party. Psychonauts 2 really delivered, maybe even more than people thought. Forza Horizon 5 was, its stellar self, even like sparking debate about, its non-inclusion in the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft Flight Sim came to console, and people, was
Oh
just like, "Wow,
yeah,
look at
another
this!" Like,
extreme.
yeah,
I would say, I don't think it's unfair to call flight sim niche. Like I think
well,
flight sim is an
yeah,
extremely niche genre, but to see that open up to a huge audience and have a bunch of casuals, quote unquote, play and love flight sim, that's awesome as well. And that's
yeah. Halo multiplayer being loved despite some of the smaller issues it has surrounding monetization and Progression is great. Like the early Halo campaign previews after people were like, I don't know about this campaign, Miles.
Dude, I don't,
For
it's gonna
like a
be
year,
bad,
for
bro,
like a
bro.
year, everybody was like, I don't know. And to see like, well, maybe they actually nailed it. And then like, PlayStation's last exclusive being made by an Xbox developer that is also nominated for Game of the Year, Deathloop.
So many Game of the Year awards.
I mean,
So many.
it turned out to be a stellar year, and it's only going to get better next year. You got Starfield and Redfall and Forza Motorsport, presumably whatever they're going to do with Game Pass, and then like 2023 and 2024 is when 2023 is when it really truly hammer drops, and their vision is one big game every 3 months essentially is going to begin. And that will be the new age of Xbox, when like you don't have to when I don't have to sit up here and be like, yeah, they didn't release anything for 8 months, when I can be like, oh, they learned and they released something in February and then they released something in May. Oh my god. Right.
I think you're right. I think 2023 is going to be the year that Xbox fully hits its groove, and we see the fruits of all these investments, of all these teams come out, and we have that just massive conversation dominating game once per quarter. I mean, Game Pass
Mm-hmm.
now is already a ridiculous deal, but when you have humongous games of the caliber that Xbox is aiming for consistently, ooh, oh, it's gonna be glorious. And it's refreshing to see Xbox deliver on all these promises that we've made, because for a while people criticized Microsoft as a whole, not just Xbox, but Microsoft, about over promising and under delivering. And I don't think anyone can fairly say that Xbox right now has overpromised and underdelivered. They are proving that they want to make the best games, and they are proving that they want to give their studios and the teams the time and resources they need to really nail these releases. And if the delay of Halo Infinite is any indication, and where that game stands now in terms of polish and presentation, ooh, as they say, Rand, we eating good, bro.
Yeah, we eating good.
Oh yeah, so yeah, real quick, glad we got to touch on that, because I saw somebody saying that this is too negative. You're just focusing on the
I
negatives.
told you. I told
And
you. I told you. I told you people would say that you're dooming and glooming, Miles.
but mostly there's a lot to be excited and positive about, and we definitely celebrate all of that. So I'm gonna get to another super chat here, and we're gonna wrap this beast up. Harjeet Chani says, with the messaging from Joe Staten, do you think co-op will get further delayed to fix some of the complaints for multiplayer? How about Forge before co-op?
I mean, weren't they pretty apparent by saying Forge will be after co-op in season
Yeah.
3? I mean, I don't
They,
really see them going and flipping them.
yeah, I agree. I don't think Forge is coming before co-op. Certainly
Yeah.
not.
I
In
mean,
term
who knows when co-op will come? Is like co-op going to come day 1 of season 2? So like season 2 starts May 8th, will co-op drop May 8th? Right? Or will it be sometime within the second season? Or I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I think they'll release the co-op when they feel it's 100%. Like, I'm not going to say perfect, because video game software, right? Nothing's really ever perfect.
yeah,
But like
when
when
it's
they when they
as good as
feel
it can
like, all
be.
right, this is great. We feel really good about it, and we're gonna send it out. Because even when I've been playing through the campaign, I was thinking like, man, there's something like, yeah, playing this with a buddy would be really, really fun. You know?
My heart can't take another co-op delay, if I'm being real here. Like, I when they first said, it'll come season 2, they were quick to say that that could change, though. That could change. So the fact that they were so quick to downplay the timeline for the first delay made me not hopeful that it was coming, quote unquote, 3 months after launch, which a lot of people assumed when they said that seasons are 3 months and that co-op would be coming season 2. Then when I saw that, season 2 was coming in May, I was like, well, they're gonna come out and announce that co-op's getting delayed until May, and then if it's delayed beyond May, I'll be bummed. Obviously, I'm bummed I can't play co-op at launch, and I've come to terms with that. I've accepted it for what it is. But
You
yeah.
know, it would come sooner, Miles, if you didn't stop dooming all the time about stuff.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I
Mm.
don't think this is my fault at all, despite what you might try to say.
I'm
I,
not saying.
I just want to co-op, okay? And that makes me the villain here. It makes me a bad guy for wanting to play a video game with my friends. Call me old-fashioned, Rand.
You're old-fashioned.
All right. We are gonna wrap this up. Huge shout out to the over 300 people still hanging with us, still listening to us doom and gloom about Halo Infinite. Really appreciate all you guys. Rand, for the lovely folks still with us, let them know where they can harass you about your bad Halo takes.
My bad Halo takes. I what do you mean? I was fair and balanced about Halo.
Dude, you were also dooming and glooming, bro. You
I was not.
you
was
called
not
343
dooming and
Industries
glooming.
greedy. Okay?
Well, I'm sorry, but
Greedy.
like,
Whoa.
I feel like, well, I mean, hey, when you're not letting me put my colors on all my Spartan cores, I don't know what else that is I'm supposed to think. Like, they're definitely not altruistic with that, right?
Ugh.
Yeah. So if you want to complain about my Halo takes, I'm on Twitter, at Rand _Al _Thor 19. I never say this because it's always a mouthful. You could reach me there, if you want to, continue the conversation, or on my YouTube channel, Rand al Thor 19, youtube.com/Rand al Thor 19, where I gotta do another podcast here in, like, I don't know, an hour with Jez Corden.
That's
Where,
right.
I wonder how Jez feels about all this stuff, because we got stuff to talk about on the show, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. You gonna
Yeah.
stop by, Miles? You
I'm
gonna
gonna
stop
stop
by?
by.
And be like,
I'm gonna
and you're gonna be in the chat being like, "Look at Rand just dooming and just
I'm
dooming."
gonna be trolling that chat hard, dude.
Why you criticizing? Why can't you just love everything and always just just be Xbox is the greatest and never does anything wrong ever, and we should just always take what we're given and never complain about anything.
Yeah,
Like good little
you're
fans.
so entitled, Rand. It's gross, dude. Don't you dare
yeah.
don't criticize anything, don't complain about anything, because that's all FUD. You're just trying to ruin Halo. You hate Halo. That's what this is. You really hate Halo.
You know what?
You're
You
a
can't
fake
have any
gamer.
you guys, okay. Anybody in chat, if you're complaining about the show, you can't complain about it because this is a beta. Okay, we're not into the 50 episode mark yet. The Xbox Chaturdays is still in beta form. We still got a couple more episodes, and then we're out of beta. So any of the things that you talk about, like complaints or anything, can't talk about it.
The show is growing and evolving, guys. Okay, give it time. Give it six months.
I love everybody. Everybody in chat's amazing.
Exactly.
I appreciate everyone.
This crew is amazing. Again,
Don't take it so seriously.
A lot of good conversations in the chat. There's a lot of people have different takes. People disagree, and that's totally cool. But everyone here keeps it civil, keeps it fun, and that's what it's all about. And that's why I love having you on, because we can dick around and joke around for like 3 hours, and it's easy. Talk about anything.
Yeah, we could go longer, but
But yeah, I want to give you a little time to eat lunch,
you gotta recuperate, man.
Yeah, you got Xbox too. You're running the podcast gauntlet.
You got all my hot takes. Now people are gonna come to my show and they're gonna be like, "I already heard you talk about this with Miles," and I'm like, "Oh god."
Oh god. And look, Dan Beck gets it. He says the show just started releasing on podcast services, so
yeah, so
he gets it. Yeah, exactly. We're fresh. Episode 1 just out. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging with us. We are gonna wrap this show up, and I will be back next week at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, have an amazing weekend, and go watch the Xbox 2.
Yes, please.